everyone, and welcome to another Monday Night Gaming. I'm your host, Chris Sheriff. Joining me tonight on the desk is Calvin Wong and Greg Jackson.
Hello.
Oh, see, it's almost like a smooth transition that nobody will ever know, right?
Pixar didn't happen.
No, that's it.
That's right. We didn't record that.
Yeah, the recording that I've got doesn't have any errors on it at all. So I was busy talking about Aaron Utley's stream and how everyone should watch Twitch Tuesdays, but I feel bad now because he's obviously doing it better than us. So check out Twitch Tuesdays tomorrow. Stay around tonight. We'll hopefully have sound all day. And then we were also discussing the fact that FFG had released more news for us. We love Mondays, apparently.
Yes, conveniently on Mondays.
Yeah.
It's because, they love us. They all watch Monday Night Gaming.
Yeah.
And they know that we are the premier place for people to come and get their news.
Yeah.
Especially since podcasts take a week to pop.
Yeah.
That's it. I blame the podcasts for being too slow.
That's what they get for, recording before time and cleaning things up and, polishing their product rather than just going live and winging
with
it.
no sound. And
That's it. I mean, I swear, if you knew how many takes it does to get one episode of Nova Squadron Radio done, I won't spoil all of Ed's secrets, but, that 3-hour show normally takes like 4 days.
That explains a lot.
We will have a Jedi League match on today, so it should be quite interesting. And we've got a nice, not nice, I've been informed by the table that it won't be a friendly game. It's a grudge match, apparently.
Yeah, apparently Aiden and Michael want horrible revenge for something or other.
Just looking at each other funny or something like that.
To be fair, he blew up my Death Star twice.
Oh, I'm assuming this is some Rebellion talk.
yeah.
Have you played Rebellion?
Well, that's what
Still.
I've still not played it. I read most of the rulebook. I took it home. It's on my shelf. It's still in the shrink wrap.
I took mine out of the shrink wrap, so I can't return it now.
I see. You don't want to return it. You want to play it.
Clearly.
Okay, so I do have a couple of quick things to cover, just so that you all know I wasn't a liar on the stream. I promised you all anti-fly casual t-shirts, and here you go. So if you have a look on TeePublic, you can buy some Don't Be a Dick t-shirts to wear to your X-Wing Regionals events.
I guess I'm going to have to get one of those, aren't I?
I've ordered mine already. It's on the way. So get them while they're on sale. I think because they're brand new, they stay on sale for 2 days and then they go back up to normal price. So TeePublic, and you can find them on there. I'm sure they'll be all over Facebook soon, or already are.
Sort of.
Yeah, do you want to talk Defenders now, or shall we let them stop waiting patiently? I can keep talking nonsense and make them wait even longer.
I don't know. They seem ready, so maybe let the changeover time be our...
Yeah. Okay, guys. If you are happy, we'll throw it over to a desk. We game, in fact. We have a desk. Oh. So, as you can see, Aiden's doing his Master and Apprentice list with some Kanan Jaros. Well, we're not allowed to pronounce Kanan's name right.
Apparently you're not. Fire Control, Dorsal Turret, Hera Crew, Recon Specialist, and the Ghost title. Because we've got Ezra with Push the Limit and Chopper in his Phantom. And
Red Squadron
a T-70 out of time.
Yeah. Predator, R2 integrated.
A reasonably solid 30-point ship, which Aiden seems very fond of.
Yeah, he's used it a lot.
Yeah.
He's a big fan.
Yep. I told him the Red Squad veterans are solid with Predator.
The thing I was most excited to see was the Inquisitor against the Ghost. We were going to have a mess around on the day Greg was off sick.
Yeah, but...
So we finally get to see the matchup.
Yeah, so. I was interested to see you put the Prockets on.
Yeah.
Which, personally, I think fit better on any of the other
The ones that have to get in
prototypes.
close.
Yeah. but we'll see how it works. With
Yeah, but there is the counter logic of people going, he's going to want to stay at long range, so I should get in close. And then the rockets say, yeah, do that. I like that.
It's true. A bit of a
But
deterrent,
Rockets
maybe.
and Valen Rudo. It's all the fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually like this one, Michael. It's all PS8. Gives you a lot of versatility in your movements.
That's one
All
thing I
mini
like
aces.
quite a bit. Each of his ships is also extremely irritating to deal with in the end game, so it doesn't matter who you focus fire, whatever's left is going to be annoying to clean up. Like Karnor especially. If you can't take focus and evade tokens and he's the last ship left, well,
Yeah. That
he's going to
Rex spec is
seriously
less
annoy.
useful.
Yeah, he's going to seriously annoy your ability to
Well,
do things.
as
And of
long
course,
as
then there's
Kanan
Omega Leader,
gets to take the action
who just says
before-
no.
No, in fact, you still have to spend the focus token,
Yes.
don't you? So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
it's that
cannot
time.
spend focus tokens.
Well, wishing each other luck and everything. So I'll start the timer.
What, you didn't see the joy buzzer in that handshake?
Okay, we'll pull the timer up and we'll start it once he plays some dials.
Yep. This is not one of our tournament games, so. But we're still going to lock them into an hour to get them off the table.
We've got other people. We've got people queuing up to play today.
I know, Greg and Bill are here for their match, so.
I don't think Bill's here yet. you know.
Well, he will be.
Living
He-
5 minutes away, getting to turn up fashionably late.
Yeah, whenever his
Okay.
girlfriend finally lets him go.
I'm surprised Lisa's not come down recently.
I just think she doesn't like you.
That's
Nobody
always a
does.
possibility.
She was here on Sunday
Yeah.
How-
to play our
how's that?
casual X-Wing, but. Alright, well, Red Squadron veteran just takes a short hop. I would expect Aiden to keep his ships relatively close together here. Just because they're going to work a lot better as mutually supporting ships.
Yeah.
Because of the position of that rock, his next turn is also going to be fairly predictable. Because he can either go straight or he can give up some free damage.
What do you guys think?
Of course, it's
about
Aiden, so he
the,
could actually just decide to give up some free damage for the hell of it. So.
What do you guys think about the dorsal turret?
I like it because it's cheap and versatile. It's nowhere near as good as a TLT, which is what I was putting on my Lawful
Yeah.
Rebel,
But it's half the points as well.
but
so.
it's half the points. So I do like it. I feel like it's a hard one to build a list around.
I've been meaning to experiment with a Cavill with dorsal turret because apparently Mr. Monosyllabic Pirate King is not so bad with it. I mean, it's always 3 dice,
Yeah,
and then he gets the 4th one up close. So,
yeah.
and he's got the high pilot skill and the EPT to actually ensure that he can usually get that off. So, you can do. I feel like there's something to explore there, but well, nobody cares about Scum Y-Wings right now.
No one cares about Scum Y-Wings ever. No
Well,
one
people were
cared.
whining about them.
No one
They-
cared about TLTs. They didn't like them. They didn't care.
Yeah, I don't know. Just when it's not at range 1, it just seems pretty underwhelming. You know,
Yeah, for me, the
guys.
dorsal turret is like at range 2. Yeah, it just
it's really not that exciting. So personally, I prefer an auto blaster turret just because, you know, even with the dorsal turret, you really want to be at range 1 if you're using it. So, you know, at least
Well-
you get the auto blaster turret and can get that damage pushed through for sure.
But for 1 extra point, you get to do stuff at range 2.
yep.
But what are you actually going to end up doing against aces, particularly like
We
a
have
2 dice?
Slapping at them.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, there's that rock.
We'll see if the dice camera's any better this time.
At least that's aligned correctly. Well, did the red squad take that damage?
No, they
All
did
right, he
not
got off
take
scot-free.
So no messing about. Let's go through this densely packed asteroid field.
Yep, it'll- Michael appears to have been playing this one fairly conservatively, so I'm not sure he's actually looking to turn in on this one. Oh, looks like he is. With
Should
the
fit around
Inquisitor.
that row.
Yep. Inquisitor is just going to jump in there. Fortunately for him.
And this is when you get to measure range and say, oh look, range 1.
It's always range 1, unless it's not in range. Alright, well, Omega Leader's not going to be able to duplicate that maneuver, obviously, so it'll be interesting to see what he has chosen to do. Just a straight. Looks like he was expecting either a lot more conservative or a lot more aggressive out of Aiden here.
So it doesn't matter too much if you hold Omega Leader back to the end game. As you say, it's not exactly a bad end game ship.
Yep, especially if it's down to the 1v1. Karnor, though, Karnor's out there floating off to the side. I personally feel like shoving Karnor in first rather than leading with the Inquisitor would be a better choice. Just because the Inquisitor is perfectly happy to float at range 3 for the first couple of turns and then close in for the rocket shot, even when you have them. If you don't, well, might as well.
Alternatively, the Inquisitor's got the shields to absorb 1 or 2 shots without much risk. So, no.
Yep.
No.
Cannot boost. Yep.
I don't mind this line of attack too much. The Inquisitor can very easily clear the space to let the other 2 come in.
Yeah, I still don't think that it's just because Jax's ability is a more relevant up close, and you kind of want to shove him in there and get him past. Yeah.
Oh, it's still the wrong way around.
No, it isn't. They're on the right side. Those are Michael's dice, and he's on that side.
Oh, he's on that side, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I'm just dumb.
Yeah, I like to think so.
This is just going to be terrible. Dice towers are terrible.
You can roll them on the table and then just put them into a tower if you like.
The tower
Was that 3 natural evades?
Yeah.
it was enough natural evades, suffice to say.
Oh yeah. Kanan shooting at the Inquisitor.
Spoilers: beloved Star Wars characters appear in Rebels now.
All of the characters.
Yes. All right.
That
2.
was a pretty bad roll. Takes 2.
Nope. Looks like between the tokens and the dice, it's still not enough to prevent most of the damage, so it's down to 2.
Yeah.
Alright, that was a pretty good crack from Caitlin there.
Yes, it was.
A very productive turn. Red Squadron suffered no damage, correct? Correct.
Correct. The Inquisitor's shooting was not very efficient. You have to remember to use the Rebel/Resistance logo this time and the First Order/Empire ones. I spent all that time making them and then I've not used them for ages.
And it's more nowhere is it more appropriate than here, because we've got a ship from each era on them, on each side. Quite an aggressive push coming out of Aiden.
Probably looking to block the Inquisitor's straight move here.
Yeah, because the Inquisitor's only other green moves are turns, or at least 2 straight. So this is putting him in a very awkward position. But that asteroid forces him to bank like this, and that just might...
I think he's good.
No, he's just barely okay. It's hard to tell from the camera because, well, the Ghost is that big, fat piece of plastic.
I
It
feel
just
like
takes up all of the table.
I feel like the choice to focus with the T70 maybe was not the best, given that Karnar is
About to
probably going to be coming up.
Yep.
It's
Well,
what I expected to
Looks like
see
the
from
Inquisitor is just going to scoot away.
Yeah.
A reasonable choice.
Boost around the rock, probably.
Well, that'll put him in a reasonably safe position against the Ghost's dorsal turret. Out of the X-Wing's range.
And that's sort of same. Throw the Inquisitor in first, because those 2 crits got absorbed onto shields.
Yep.
Either of the other 2 ships that had gone in there, it would have been potential direct hits coming out.
But if it had been Jax, maybe he wouldn't have gotten hit with that extra evade on the stealth device.
True.
But, well, yeah. So it goes. But now, Omega Leader gets to swoop in and potentially exchange range 1. Yep. Picks up his target lock on the X-Wing. And Jax. The Jax attack. Alright. Oh, that looks unfortunate.
Is he on the rock?
Yep.
Ouch.
Well, he doesn't pay too heavily for it, but that could very well cost him deep. Well, he's also not in range 1, it looks like.
No, it doesn't.
So Jax is useless this turn, except as a potential target. Omega Leader shot.
2 focuses. So a whole lot of nothing coming in there, it looks like.
Looks like he's not going to do anything about it. He's just going to let it go. Which is reasonable, but, well, here we are.
So Michael's dice, not very friendly so far.
Luckily, he's not playing a triple Imperial Ace list, where it's really important.
Ooh, wait.
Yeah, re-roll a Cochrane.
Alright, so hit. So a hit and a crit coming out of the X-Wing.
XP from the Ghost.
Yeah, this is a ghost
oh,
shot
yeah.
shooting at Omega Leader. So Omega Leader spends the evade token and avoids damage,
Yep.
which is good because she really wants to keep that stealth device activated.
Indeed. They're going to take stealth. Gotta keep it.
Yeah.
And here's the X-Wing shot.
Oh dear.
Looks like a solid 3.
Yeah. So looks like the stealth. Looks like the stealth device is gone. Blinded pilot crit. It's
Wow.
not going well.
His dice. That was an unmodified attack for hit crit and a total whiff on the defense. And now comes the dorsal turret.
To be totally fair, though, Michael, I feel, has misplayed this entire opening engagement.
Landing on the rock doesn't help.
Yeah, he even boosted the previous turn and knew that was a possibility, and still he landed on it. He failed. That rock prevented his boost with Jax last turn.
That was at range
So it
1,
was
the turret attack? So you rolled too many dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nothing happened, so it's fine.
Yeah, so you rolled too many. So 2 dice attack. Okay. So
I'm trying to help you out, man.
put the ship back on.
It did not end up mattering.
And this is why, no spoilers, but the Rebels are good in Rebels.
Because TIE Advanced prototypes are terrible? No. Or, because protagonists always win.
You actually want to roll some evade results on your green dice.
Yeah, that might be nice.
I find.
That might be nice.
Yeah.
I suppose I should credit Aiden with his points for killing Omega Leader. It would only be polite, I feel.
And I think, that was
Meh.
the way the dice went. That was an unrealistic result, but
It was
that's what can happen to Omega Leader. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, you can't modify your attack dice.
doesn't matter.
If I roll hit crit anyway, and then you whiff, well, bad luck.
Yep.
And then you've still got another ship.
Yep.
In this case, the Ghost with a primary and a turret attack.
Yeah, this has been exacerbated by the fact that Michael simply has not been flying this very well at all. Like, the rocks, like the poor engagement, the fact that one ship was trading fire with both of Aiden's ships in the first round.
Yeah. It was not ideal. I mean,
Like, his main mistake here is not controlling range, but he knew he would not have been able to boost onto that rock, and it did not click that he would not have been able to do a 2 straight. And that is
Looks like a 4K fits.
just barely. And that, I feel, is a significant mistake coming out of the
definitely mistakes.
interceptor
His
play.
dice have been.
Yeah, his dice. Yeah, his
I've made
dice.
sure that he didn't get a chance to recover from
Yeah.
anything.
Because sometimes you can make mistakes and get away with it,
Yep.
and other times you get punished. In this occasion, he's definitely been punished.
Yeah, I have seen Fells make the absolute worst play possible and still be saved by the green dice.
Yeah.
But no such luck here.
More hard ones from the Inquisitor.
Yeah, unfortunately, that position makes it very difficult for the Inquisitor to really get back into the fight.
Oh, I say, another a booster in the asteroid again. He'll be back in next turn.
Yeah, well,
Clean-
that angle
clean up
should
that
actually
red
give him a shot
squadron.
this turn, but
Yeah.
like I don't he's done no damage and he's lost a ship.
If he can get the Inquisitor sitting behind, and again, the important thing is whatever Colonel is doing there.
Yeah. But the big problem is he has lost a ship and half the health on another ship, and he has done no damage back. And the Ghost is a lot of health to chew through.
Yeah. Yeah, to have lost the ship this early makes it really difficult to have the firepower to get through that.
Especially since he's only rolled red dice twice.
Yeah. So,
And unfortunately, Jax is again going to be denied because that's a collision, and he's sitting in front of the X-Wing and he has no tokens.
So,
Okay.
see if he can push through the third point of damage.
Well, he's going to need to.
So, 3 shields.
yay!
Yep, it's going to be a little damage there. Slowly begin chipping away at that Ghost. Yep. And there's a rear primary shot. That's going to hurt. Well, at least that evade token guarantees he's going to dodge something.
Oh,
That's 3, so he's not going to dodge a lot.
and blanks again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is proving to be a very, very quick first game. Better text Bill.
Luckily, I've got my stuff in the car. So.
Especially since we've got a 4 dice predator shot coming in and a tokenless Jax. Just 3 crits. Just 3 crits.
I'm gonna have to take a close look at Aiden's dice after this game. Double check those. This is. That's it.
Well,
Wow.
Yeah, so, an 18-minute game there.
That was.
this shows the fragility of the triple aces style list. Sometimes the dice only need to kick you so much before you just lose the game.
Yeah, so it's never pretty.
Wow.
So I think landing ships at range 2 of a ghost when you're flying this style list is asking for trouble. But it puts it in the dice's hands, and they will come and bite you. So
It's unfortunate for Michael that the green dice were so terrible, but I feel like he would have been fighting an uphill battle just on the execution. But then the green dice decided they would give him the Emperor's Peace.
yeah,
A slight bit of mercy.
yeah. So the first game was
No. There's no staffer on hand to mop up blood, but there is apparently a Cornate staffer somewhere around here, delighting in the sacrifice to the blood god.
Blood for the Blood Emperor.
That was
It was
a little one-sided.
yeah. So
Well, when one player doesn't roll an evade on green dice ever, and is flying ties,
Guaranteed one evade on all of the dice. On every roll, just one evade and nothing else.
well, Michael was saying that he's not played much against the large ships, so they had a couple of practice matchups, and the inexperience against the large ship showed just how quickly it was to manage to drop in to range 2, and what was 4 dice attacks, just clean it up. There's
Yeah.
not much you can say really.
I think the
green dice choking so hard really just accelerated the whole matter.
the way he chose to go through those rocks, and like
Very
you say,
poor.
having the Inquisitor head on his own for that first round of
Yep.
combat, and then to drop Jax on the rock, and then be in a position where he had nowhere else to go but to bump, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was...
I would have done the 4K, or the big K on the Interceptor.
From a turn 0 perspective, I don't actually like the choice of several large rocks when you've got like that sort of ship. When you're flying the triple Imperial Aces, because you don't have as much room to fly around, and you make use of your superior dial and your repositioning.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry, no, that was. I got these mixed up.
Yeah, that was a beating.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Shall we,
Also, creating larger spaces, I feel like, is more advantageous to them. I mean, if you spread out the rocks, a large base ship is still going to have to be wary of them.
Yeah.
But the small base ships are going to be a lot less worried about it.
Yeah.
unless you're gonna play a 4 build.
Would you like to get either of them on the stream for a quick chat?
I can get them to jump on.
Yeah.
Like, the main
Who wants to come and chat to your adoring viewers? Yeah. Yeah, so I'll jump out and let Aidan jump in, and I'll go and find Greg and tell him that the game once over. Yeah, enjoy the win, man. Lord it over him.
All right. So
how do you feel about that match?
that went well.
It certainly did.
I didn't expect to win quite that fast, but I don't know. My dice do most of the work. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, the dice definitely were very one-sided,
Yeah.
but, the way that you set up in the corner, and then with him setting up in the center and coming straight through the rocks, you chose to come into the center as well, which, with a big ship is kind of brave in a tight,
It's
packed space like that, but worked out.
it's not the normal strategy, but I don't know. I've been playing the ghost enough that I kind of have a feel for where it's gonna go. So I
Yeah.
just trusted my instincts and I used the force.
Definitely paid off.
That's not how the Force works.
So there was one decision where you moved the T-70 up and chose to focus when Jax was about to move up, which I felt like it was a mistake, except he then dropped Jax on a rock and it was at range 2, so it didn't actually matter.
Yeah, that
I don't know if that...
maybe could have thought that through better, but
I mean, it worked out, so...
I don't know.
Well, he wasn't punished for the mistake, I feel
right.
like.
The thing with the D70 is I'm used to basically just doing focuses with it, because with Predator, you're not.
That's
really...
true. That is true.
Okay, we've lost the feed, so something's wrong here.
Uh-oh.
Okay. You lost the feed, Chris.
Apparently we've lost the feed somehow, so...
I'll just.
I don't know if that's the sound only, or...
Is the stream back on?
Watch a guy with almost no skill win the game because every time he puts the dice on critical hit,
Yeah.
see every single time.
It's working.
No matter what the die roll is. I've only got 2 dice, critical hit, regular. Where did that
There we go.
extra one
Looks like it's back.
That's very strange.
Alright, looks like just a temporary interruption.
Maybe that was just because they didn't want to hear us talking for a bit.
Maybe they needed me back.
They want, yeah.
Yeah, you all missed me. trolling the desk.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, like, I don't like such a tight clustering for triple aces just because it limits your ability to outfly your opponent sometimes. Like, if you space the large rocks out more, it's still very difficult for a large spaceship to fly through it because they occupy so much space.
Yeah.
And you have more room to operate in. Like, it's like the pulp aces, 3, like, you can probably cluster them a little more, but I feel like it's more disruptive to the opponent to have them a little more spread out.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the same ability to reposition that you do. And it's more about the specific approach to the matchup than it is like just a general rule.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got Greg and Bill getting ready, but do we want to...
Well, that was a natural time for
else?
the TIE Defender conversation, I think. Which, you know, some people are probably only here for that. They want to hear the news.
I'll show everyone's
Or, well,
favourite ship and cover Greg's face up, so it's double bonus. Oh, he's still got seen. So
except for his ear. Well, that's...
So obviously everyone wants to talk about the
can do
generics
that.
first.
Well, I want to talk about the generic because you can have 3 of these guys with X7 and Crackshot.
Oh, I don't have crack shot. Yeah. You
Chris.
said Duke. You said.
I said also get Juke, but I also said get Crackshot. But the first one I told you was Crackshot.
Okay. So everyone knows what crack shot does anyway.
Yeah, because, well, as we saw, 6 TIE fighters with Crackshot is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I feel like 3 TIE Defenders with Crackshot wouldn't be too terrible, because frankly, the Defender, while it does not have the sheer ability to overwhelm people with targets as the TIE Fighter or Crackswarm does, the triple glaze with Crackshot, they're a lot harder to remove. You need to do 6 damage to one of them to remove anything, and they can actually survive a bad defense roll.
Yeah.
Plus, they get that free evade token.
And you can fly them in the same way to a swarm. We're all the same, so you use up whatever expendable EPT you like and then break off with the one that's damaged. Send it out of a fight if you want to change it with sacrificing positioning.
Yep.
There's still the options. I think 2 glaives and a named will be a thing. You'll fly 3.
Yeah.
I will
because
fly
It's
3
Calvin's.
glaives.
3 the same, with the same loadout.
So
All the same.
I did
all
pull
the
up
time.
Duke for you as well, just because.
Just because, like, that is another thing I was thinking about. Because, well, 2 of them with X7 and Juke is 34, but
Yeah.
that's still a fairly dangerous ship.
Yeah.
Like, you can find...
It leaves you just enough points to take a really good ship.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like they're bad.
Yep. Like,
Yeah, that
on
gives you
their own,
32
they're just
points.
very solid. Yeah.
You could take a foul with auto thrusters,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that.
And speaking of name, the Glaive Squadron leader is what's making everyone go crazy.
Okay.
Because we've got the Countess.
Yeah.
And this...
Okay, I'm gonna have to show off, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take any of the credit for this one. This was all. No, wrong one.
Yeah,
It's
somebody else made this,
No,
but...
it's Bob Randall, Major Juggler, sent it out to the Nova Squadron group text. So, yeah, look at that for a dial. It's terrible because of those red 1s and 2 turns.
I know.
Terrible.
I know. Green
Worst
Coagrants,
dial ever.
unplayable, right?
She's just never ever gonna
But-
be like turning.
No.
They very deliberately printed her at a range, I feel like, that she could not get to skill 9 because, frankly, this ability is ridiculous at skill 9. Like, this ability is honestly pretty good at skill 5, but it would be absolutely untenable
I
for
have to
competitive
say
balance at 9,
that
I
I'm
feel.
really, really sad that defenders are good now. It makes me unhappy.
Why? Why?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Does defenders
I-
hate you?
I love it so
Did a
much.
defender touch you in a bad place as a child?
love the
I'm
defender.
so happy. I love it so much. It's like, oh no, I might actually win games now.
No.
The main thing I
no
really like about the Countess's ability
Oh, yeah,
is
so
that
far.
it's reactive. I mean, she's absolute murder on generics because she can just dial in a 5. If they went aggressively, then she can K-turn behind them. Otherwise, she's going nose to nose with them and brawling. Like, the thing is, her ability would be untenable at high pilot skill. Like, if she had access to pilot skill 9, this would be bad for the game. Like, we already saw like how obnoxious Whisper was with the decloak on dial reveal,
Yeah.
and this has the potential to be almost as
I don't
dangerous
think
because it's almost not quite as, but almost as dangerous simply
remember-
because it's reactive and it's green.
Yeah, but remember you've got to get this. You have to go with the Mark II title
Yep.
modification. So you're losing it on engine or something else like that. You still have to go in straight lines. You don't have a boost. You're only going in straight lines.
Yeah,
So,
but you have a lot of
yeah,
variety in the straight lines.
You just flank her.
Yeah.
Flank her, and there's going to be a nice wide spot where you can take her out. But
So
she's
what
going
are
to be so
what are the banks normally?
they're
white.
all white. Yeah.
They're all white. Okay.
The only greens on a defender naturally are the forwards, but it's all of them.
Yeah, the main thing I feel like this is obviously it's not as ridiculously powerful as it could be because it's not skill 9, but I feel like this is still a reasonably solid ship and it will be very strong against generics because as far as like the masses of of skill 2 pilots are concerned, 5 is as good as 9. And this just stops us from having the ridiculous pilot skill arms race that we saw when the Phantom was super prevalent.
Yeah. So I'll throw up Merrick as well, just because we've got his points value now. So 35 points. We were discussing this offer briefly before we managed to go live, and as much as Calvin likes it, both of the titles, and the TIE D title's really, really good with Vessery with a tractor beam and some glaives with flechettes or something. You can
You can do some
around
interesting
with.
things there, but
I still think I'd be tempted to take Merrick Steele with a Mangler cannon and then VI. Get him up to 9 and a Mangler cannon for that guaranteed crit, and just play a 40-point defender.
it could be okay. I'm not a big fan of it
No,
But
it's not going to
because
be.
even at 35, it feels just a tiny bit overcosted. Like the defenders are in kind of a strange place there.
You have to keep consistent with the defender costing because you've got
You've got the
X7
X7
now,
out
so,
there, and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just a little off.
Obviously, the problem he has is unless you're going to take marksmanship, which is terrible and doesn't synergize with the TIE D title,
It's so expensive.
yeah, you can't guarantee them with him. So
Well, you put him in a list with Powell,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, you could. I like Flechette cannon as well on my defender just because it's cheaper.
Yeah, Mangler Cannon is 4 points, so Marek with a Mangler is 39, and whatever else you've got on
VI.
top there,
Yeah.
is the extra point. Like VI is the other point for 40.
Then you
Like,
could take Rexler and adaptability of 2 PS9 defenders. Oh, I'm so happy.
frankly, one thing I'm actually interested in doing it with the TIE D title is a pair of glaives with Predator,
Yeah.
because Predator, like having access to the elite slot, lets you actually take things like Predator, take things like Juke, which are actually effective on multiple attacks. I mean, of course, you can't have Juke because the defender doesn't have a native evade, but...
And obviously we wouldn't use the TIE D title with a Mangler Cannon because it doesn't anything.
Work.
But it also doesn't cost any points.
So
you
can do it because it's funny?
I take it for the same reason I take the Slave 1 title on Boba Fett, because...
Because you can and it costs you nothing?
Yes. And it's something else for Boba Fett to strip off you. Flip that title over. Okay. Can I keep my Mangler Cannon now?
Yeah. Hey, it's an upgrade card. Why not? Aside from like making your list harder to type in.
The 35-point Predator X7. That's a very, very nice level to sit.
Yeah, you can stick 2 of those plus a third 30-point ship and go with that. And frankly, it's got the dice modifier on the offense. It's always got the evade token, and it's a mean ship.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going spendy, you can go Predator, Ion Cannon, and TIE D. Yeah. And that puts you to a 40-point ship, but it's a skill 6 ship that fires twice and controls.
Yeah. And they synergize really well with Vassery.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many options. I really like one of the lists that, we'll throw it all to the table now so we can...
Mara could take calculation like the examples, but there's a lot of ways that the TIE Defender can go. We've known most of the cards already, so a lot of the ones have already been explored, like the triple Onyx Squadron with stealth devices and X7. Like, that one is just 3 guys with 4 agility, and by the time, and even if you do manage to hit them, you probably won't hit them for a lot, and then you still got to remove 4 to 5 health more.
So I'm just
by the time you manage to hit them.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who likes flying robots with IGB and also likes to slaver with Boss Gunner, I'm definitely a fan of the TIE D title. Getting the 2 attacks and forcing them to decide, do I take this hit or spend my tokens when I know there's going to be another attack coming.
Yeah, especially like the example that Fantasy Flight actually gave on their article. Like, do you spend all of your tokens to not get hit by the ion, and then eat the primary?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially with all of those cheap cannons being range 1 to 3. Like, you're always going to take those 2 shots.
Yeah.
And
so, I don't know, you put a tractor beam on there. Do you take the tractor beam token, meaning that you're then down in agility for the primary?
One of the idea I've been bouncing around since the titles were spoiled is triple deltas with 2 ion cannons and a tractor, and all have Mark II engines, so that they've got that extra bit of maneuverability.
Yeah.
And the amount of control that has is actually pretty entertaining. It's possible for you to tractor somebody so that their ion will smack them into an asteroid.
Yeah.
I mean, there's even the possibility of mixing it up and going ion, flechette, tractor beam, and being able to really mess somebody up.
So they're already playing, and we haven't got the timer. The time's still going from the last game.
That's because they didn't wait. We were too excited.
You're supposed to wait?
It's okay. To be fair, Greg hasn't actually made a League game yet, so we've cut him some slack.
All right, so quick run on the list. We've got Bill with Vessery, speaking of.
Yeah.
But he's just wired.
Just wired.
Where Bill has not opted to test a title, which, frankly, I don't think we would have let him do anyways.
No.
No, not in the
league. No, it's far too competitive.
As I said, we would not have let him. But he's got a pair of test pilots with the title and a pair of Epsilon squadrons with absolutely nothing. So it's a sort of weird mini swarm.
They have a native target lock, which I believe is all Bill needs.
Yes, indeed.
He's just looking to facilitate Vessery.
Yep.
Of course, the problem is when Vessery dies, as he will very quickly, I'm sure.
Yep.
Then.
You're assuming he's going to die.
Yeah.
We kind of are, yes, because he's a TIE Defender prefix. So we're sort of assuming he will die, yes. Wired is, Bill. Well, we can ask him about this on the desk later, but I would guess that yeah, the wire is there so that he can grab the hard one or two without sucking.
It's one.
Oh. Something more useful? No.
Terrible diet.
Crack shot.
1 point is a power skill mid or from a 6 to an 8.
1 point could be a crack shot. And Bill doesn't like that idea. Anyways, we've got...
1 point could have been...
What is this Tomicron group? Chris? Where's that T coming from?
That was probably from whatever was in the list before.
Yeah.
Who was on that side? I don't know.
Anyways, Omicron Group is leading the kind of interesting 3 ties. Not quite aces all, because
Imperial
Omega Leader is a
a-holes.
chip. And Wampa. Wampa is fun times.
Wampa.
That's
Oh my
not my
God.
name for the list. That's just what it's called.
Yeah. I like Wampa.
I don't believe that's how it's pronounced.
The
There we
Wampa?
go, yeah.
14 points of annoying.
14 points of... ultimately, is cheaper than Biggs. And has the exact same effect written onto his card, practically.
Yeah, if you leave Wampa alive, eventually you will live just long enough to regret it.
All you gotta do is take out Pulp, and then you just don't care about Wampa at all.
Well, the thing is, sometimes, if you roll like Aiden, you just get that natural crit all the time anyways.
Yeah.
Kaplan split.
And then it's just like, well, there we are. Look, crits. Like, this is actually one of the things I like about the current meta, because the meta has opened up so much that you can do this. Like, the standard super expensive aces are possible. Chopping back and running like 3 ties with Palpatine is possible. Like, the potential lists have just opened up significantly. Thanks for pushing TLTs out of the meta.
Yeah,
U-boats.
I was gonna say, no TLT Y-Wings anymore.
I took them.
They crop out. They don't crop up in the same 4 of, which is the main thing that some people were worried
I've
about.
got a list that I want to play, mostly because of the name that I give to the list, but it's got TLT Y-Wings in it. It's a Bump Master with Palob and 2 Y-Wings, all with TLTs. And I call it Bump and Grind.
Is this to go with your Frankie Says Relax list?
Yes. Frankie say relax. I want to tweak that a little bit, but that was fun.
I think, like, depending on what list you're playing against, Wampa can be a giant trap. Ultimately, how much does it really matter unless you're flying Corrin?
Yeah.
So, oh no, you've managed to sneak a face down damage card through on my YV666. Oh well, do that 6 more times and you'll kill it. Or just keep shooting it.
There's still always that fear, though, and fear
but that's
is powerful.
It's a trap. It's a giant trap.
Well, fear leads to the dark side.
Obviously Corrin, it's bad against. The TIE Advanced prototypes, they've only got 2 hull, A-Wings, but
I would also point out, why did you let Wampa shoot at your higher pilot still repositioning ship?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, if Wampa can shoot against an ace and force damage through when they would never ever get damage through normally.
Yeah, there is that thing though. Like for the very modest investment of 14 points, he randomly threatens things.
Yeah, it's a Biggs effect. That's what I pay for every time.
Yeah, and like Dave is saying in chat, kill him first is the tip of the day, because you really do not want him around long enough to just get lucky and go, oh, you have 4 evade dice? Well, I just randomly go have a point of damage because dice.
Big fan of the just getting free damage on people.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying that he's bad. just that, you know, don't get suckered in of going, oh, I'll just ignore Omega Leader for now. I'll shoot at Wampa. Yeah.
Yep, he's always a threat. Very effective for the 14 points. So Bill's showing off his nice shiny collection of fancy plastic dials because, well, apparently he likes them. He even put a TIE Defender in one. Madness, I say.
I'm sure we'll get them back in stock soon, and then I'll buy some Imperial ones.
They are listed as on the boat again on the Fantasy Flight website.
Yeah.
So
Well,
quicker
apparently,
than I thought.
apparently lots of people love them since you guys sold out before I got here. Oh well, I have managed to source a handful and I've not been particularly fond of them, so not too worried about it. Well, looks like Bill's curving that one advanced back in to set up to provide a more coherent front here for next turn.
I don't know how I'm going to use them. I'm going to color code all of the outside of the dials so that I know which one it is, and then basically I double the amount of storage I have for dials in my case because I only need to keep one half of them and put them into the new dial covers.
Problem is the plastic increases increases storage because you've got to store them too,
But
and
you only
they're
need-
bigger.
I need 6 of them at most for one faction.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you from using other factions just because, like, there's nothing like
Personal
physically
pride.
stopping you. But
That means you need 18 of them. So
I need 8 for Imperials. So
and 6 each for the other. So that's 20. That's quite a lot of space.
yep,
But you don't have to take them with you everywhere.
Oh, you do. Do you not take your X-Wing stuff with you all
me-
the time? Like
I do.
Mine's always in my car.
same.
Just in case you get
Yeah.
pulled over by the cops and they say, if you don't throw down and beat me next week
Yeah.
right now,
It could happen, Chris.
covering all
You know,
eventualities.
you weren't working here when we had the group of Calgary police who actually were all into Star Wars and they were buying X-Wing, Imperial Assault, and the role-playing game, and they would play after the shifts were done down at the station. So could happen.
Yep. The main thing I don't like is actually kind of a chore to pop the dial back in and out.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty tight fitting, and if they stop being tight fitting, then they'll fall out when you're using them. So
Yeah.
either way, I don't think I'll do it.
They look so pretty.
Yeah. Well, now we've got the close-in,
Dice.
and it looks like it's about time for dice throwing to begin.
They all ride horses and stuff as well, don't they? RCMP.
Yeah.
Some of them do. Yeah. Seen the musical ride. It's one of the Canadian attractions.
Yeah. Looks like both players are being very cagey about this because, well, ties are rather subject to dice.
0 of 8.
Okay. That is 2 damage onto one of the ties. Or one of the prototypes, rather.
So lost its shields and took a damage.
Yep.
Guess
Very
you might
weak.
want to
Yeah.
label things.
Looks like Bill has terrible green dice.
Looks like these dice towers are.
They're a little small.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to drop like 4 dice in, but they're not being friendly for the green dice.
Yeah, I feel like those ones that you guys have here, those are really only suitable for like 2 dice at most.
3 hits.
Yep, because one of the dice is outside the tray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hooray, no damage again. Because
Easier
green dice.
if the dice tray is right next to you. A little
Yeah.
easier to
Yeah, that too, but we've set it up for a camera, so
Yeah.
that's a lot more awkward. Like,
It's just experimenting, try different things. It'll either work or it won't.
We might be able to just go back to the dice trays and get the camera a little closer, maybe. Possibly.
Well, with this setup, you could probably do the one big dice tray in front of the camera, and then they can at least both reach into it.
Because that's what we had before, but it was just a little bit hard to read what was in.
Yeah, it can be, but well, dice and dice are small and cameras are small, so.
Yeah, I said it was an Epsilon, but I was shouted down by the fellow desk people.
I can't really tell from here. Is that an Epsilon that took damage?
Yeah, just take it 2 damage.
Okay.
Or 3 damage.
So yeah, one Epsilon is at 1 hull.
Yeah.
So. Okay. And that appears to have been the only exchange damage here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mainly once it starts getting in close that the number of shots coming in will start to help Bill, hopefully.
Yeah, that last turn had a lot of his ties in somewhat an awkward position, and he's rolling
Two dice
less
at
dice.
range 3 against auto thruster Palpatine. You don't expect to do too much damage.
Yep.
Yeah, Bill's got his ships kind of spread out a little bit.
I would be looking to bring in the shuttle for combat this turn.
So regarding the dice cam, what we really need is a camera person who's got it focused on it, and then like they do in darts, when they've got the 2 in the treble 20 and it like zooms in. Just need that.
If only the store manager was available for me to ask what the budget is for hiring camera people and extra cameras. And then probably a proper production suite as well. You know, I don't think we do too badly running it off a laptop.
With random interruptions from people who need to know where the washroom is.
Looking at some live streams I've watched recently, I don't think we do half bad.
Well, we provide commentary. It's our special service. 3 sarcastic, smug, smart mouths.
We provide commentary, overlays, timers, tracking of the scores, tracking of damage on random ships that may or may not have been shot.
Yeah, to be fair, we messed that up a lot. Tracking the damage.
Well, that's better than nothing, I feel like. At least we tried.
Dice were rolled, stuff happened. Then we'll talk about League of Legends a little bit. SKT, Korean champions.
Well, duh.
Yeah,
That's like saying, the sun rose today.
I do.
This is all going over my head.
Yeah.
It's not about Star
This is what
Wars.
happens. when
Ever
we-
since, suffice to say, ever since they revamped their league structure, there has been one team that has won in Korea.
It's like the Imperial a-holes of... no, in fact, the Crack Swarm now. Crack Swarm's the on vogue list to complain about this week. We'll get to that any break in between them of games.
Well, I would be looking to shove Jax in there and just rely on the fact that he's got 4 dice to survive those TIE fighters. It's because he's stopping them from doing most of their shenanigans.
I just won Jax on the rock because I'm bad.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you about my game against Bill on Friday night. Not this Bill, of course,
the
but staff
Sentry Box
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah.
There are too many bills.
Hey, yeah. He was running 4 bombers. So
One is sufficient, Bill.
Jonas with 3 Scimitar Squadrons.
We've actually got a live audience for a game as well. It's impressive.
Well, it's mostly the guys who are just playing.
Shh, don't ruin it. They can't see. We've got a live studio audience today.
Who can't hear your commentary properly.
But yeah, so Bill was running his 4 bombers, and I threw my Lats Razzie out as bait, with Dengar being my other ship. And instead of going for Lats, he decided to go for Dengar and landed 3 of his bombers on a rock with hard 3 turns. So Dengar was right in front of them,
But they were on
only
a rock.
one of them could shoot. So that was not ideal for him. Not quite sure what was going on in his brain. But
Can I tell the story about when you played your 4 Phantom list against my bombers?
please do. That was so good.
Oh,
4 Phantoms. Amazing.
4 Phantoms against proton bombs. When you can't escape the proton bombs if you decloak forwards. And then Greg decloaked forwards.
Just in case you guys don't know, the Phantom dial is pretty terrible. And like once you decloak, then you're really not recloaking with whatever crappy. I forget the name of the
when you're
generics.
taking 4 shadows, is it?
Yeah. They decloak once, and then they're just a terrible ship with 4 attack dice, and not very much health.
Scoreboard and timer off just to give us a bit of a clearer picture of what's happening.
Yep.
So Bill's blocking up a few different turn lanes here for Carno.
Yeah, honestly, this is what he's going to have to do because he's got a bunch of low-skill guys with only 2 dice. He's going to have to just gum up the works and hope that he can stop the higher skill ties from actually getting things done. Because Jax and Vessery are the only ties on this board that are rolling 3 red dice, and disrupting your opponent's only source of 3 red dice.
I do enjoy how blocking and bumping is such a big part of the game. Just like in the movies, you see that a lot.
Oh yeah.
So many
Ships
TIE fighters just
colliding.
getting
When
in
the
the way.
shuttle Tiberium does not fly casual, but instead flies like an asshat and makes all the TIE fighters dodge out of its way. And the Millennium Falcon did bump into the back of that Star Destroyer.
Yes.
I don't know why the guy who was looking at that back viewport didn't actually say anything. Because that's quite a lot of...
Why is there something in the way of
Okay,
my
look,
view now?
he just bit some glitter stim, so he didn't want to get reported for doing drugs on duty, so he said nothing.
It was just twice as efficient with after his glitter stim. It's not his fault.
Was it Mauler Mythol that clips Vader, bumps him?
It's Mauler, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Hero of a rebellion.
Very important.
Secret
bump.
rebellion sympathizer.
Bumps his own guy. Vader gets no actions.
And then
It's
one shot by
forcibly
Han,
involved.
who apparently rolled hit, crit.
Han doesn't actually hit Vader. Han's shots all miss Vader because he bottles it. It's like, oh, I could shoot this fancy one that's in the front, or I could shoot this one that's at the side. And if Mauler had have had that little bit more nerve, to fly straight and level.
Clearly,
and level.
See,
he got the shaken pilot crit, so he
But
could not
no,
dial in a
because
straight
he didn't
maneuver.
Mauler didn't get hit either.
the way I see it,
The TIE fighter to the right of Vader explodes. Mauler panics like the terrible, terrible pilot they assume they are, crashes into the wall and then flips into Vader.
the way I see it, Chewie was the one doing the shooting, and because he missed, that's why he didn't get a medal. If it shot Vader,
I so
Like,
wish that the veteran
chestful.
instinct card for Rebels had have been Chewie getting the medal. Just off shot. It's not a movie still. It's an alternate art one, but I'm sure they gave him one eventually.
Nah, I just gave him a steak and he was happy. Alright, looks like that is a successful block on Omega Leader.
Wumper, I think.
Wumper,
that was
yes.
Or, oh wait, no, yeah, that's Wampa.
blocked
Oh.
by the Epsilon.
Yep.
So Omega Leader's just chilling at the back.
Ooh, Vessery's going
Oh,
hard.
baby.
He's going just like he has to.
Get in there.
Alright, well, depending on who gets blocked
I
off here,
wonder
this
what
could be very
move
bad.
Vessery's going to do next turn. If only there
Hard
was
one.
some way the defender could turn itself around.
He's got Wyatt. It's definitely going to be a hard one.
Oh yeah, that's the absolute genius play. Hard one onto the asteroid.
Yep.
Maybe the shuttle will do the hard 2 to face the outside of the table edge and be stressed to block it.
That's possible. I like
That is the
plan.
best play ever. Okay, so Omega Leader is actually in a pretty rough position here. He's probably going to hit something.
Yeah, I feel like Greg would definitely do that with the shuttle if it wasn't already stressed. But he could dial it in anyway, just in case.
Let Bill pick a different one.
So it's a bit of a mess in there now.
So
Well, let's see if Jax hits something.
Jax is going to hit one, for it looks like.
Ouch.
Everybody loves a good block train.
So the Epsilon TIFO of Bill's is causing a little traffic jam. Doing his job nicely.
And this is why the TIE mini swarm makes perennial appearances in lists.
Yeah.
This is why TIE fighters have been doing really well, to be honest, because Omega Leader and Wampa are now appearing more in this style list, and then they don't have as much repositioning or the survivability of Fell, so you can crack them off the table or you can block them and
Yep.
use AN bigger hitter,
Yep.
or you could just use 4 X-Wings and a Z95.
The world has gone mad, I say. Mad.
More on that later.
Okay. Looks like Omega Leader's gonna
So
clog.
it's an awesome block there by Bill, leaving him a range 1 shot from Vessery.
Yep. I do believe that there's another friendly target lock on Omega Leader there.
Indeed there is.
That's gonna hurt.
Well, it
Well,
still
it can.
involves dice rolls, and we've seen how the dice trays have been.
Sometimes the dice giveth and the dice taketh away.
Who is Omega Leader locked onto? Is it one of the TIE Advanced prototypes? Yeah. Yeah.
No. Yeah, he's on the test pilot that he's hit, so that is the least useful target lock at this point.
It's very well done by Bill. Engineer this situation. Just needs his dice to perform.
You know, I have personal experience with the dice saving Greg. So
In one of our games, they also
Sometimes
helped him a fair
turn-out
bit,
shot.
but
1 evade. No
nope,
damage.
this is
from
Carnor's
that one.
shot.
Yeah.
Looks like.
It's just everything onto Vessery. So no Palpatine.
Yep.
1 damage through onto Vessery.
Yeah, that first shot appears to have been Omega Leader.
Yeah.
Yep.
Roll the dice. Hang on, let me read this because it's been a long time since I've flown it.
Vessery, when you immediately after.
Attacking
Yep.
immediately after you roll attack dice, you may acquire a target lock on the defender if it already has a target lock on its
Yep. So dice are rolled, a target lock is acquired.
Acquire a target lock, so I will shoot 5 of this.
And immediately spent.
So that's 3 hits in total, I believe.
That looks like 2 blanks, so...
Yeah,
Yep.
it spends the evade token, spends Palpatine to take 0 damage.
Well, Omega Leader's got to do it.
Palpatine's gone, so he needs a natural crit.
Did he get it? He did get the natural crit, so...
Base turn damage on the test pilot.
On the other test pilot. Or, sorry, on a test pilot. Which one is that?
The one who's on his own in the
Yeah.
middle of
It
the
is
board.
the top one.
Yep. And this is what the fear is about, because he only needs to do that one more time to that tie to pick it off.
Yeah.
So a shot at Omega Leader. Spending target locks is 1 crit there, and 1 focus, which is nothing.
Yeah, not the best shot. Looks like
So
they're
it's
fine.
evaded.
But this is the thing about shooting at ties. It takes a while. Sometimes it's just going to not die.
It's a 2 dice supporting cast now.
Yeah.
It's stripped all of the abilities, so it is natural dice rolls,
Yeah.
but you still need to get the nice.
Yeah, you've still got to get them. Like he's not rolling particular.
Spends a target lock.
Yep.
So 1 hit so far. Just 1 hit again, so there's an evade in there. Oh, it's fine.
No, looks like that's a point.
That was a whiff. So yeah, fired out of order, but it didn't really matter because they all shot at the same target. And Vessery had stripped
The shuttle.
token anyway.
It's the shuttle is the one they forgot. So
Right.
who's that shot at?
Vessery, I assume?
Hit, crit.
No, it's going for the test.
One of the prototypes.
Yeah, it's the one not in the tray was a blank.
Yep.
1 more shield gun from Vessery.
It was
No, from
shooting at
the
test pilot.
test pilot.
So the one that didn't get wampered.
Yep. Yeah. From here, the move out of, Vessery is obvious. So, I would look to be bringing those ties. Like, I would be looking to maneuver some of the ties that Bill has here fairly conservatively to just try and create more space that, so that Greg cannot maneuver through any of that area effectively. Like, I would bring in the test pilot at the bottom there to block off Jack's going straight, and the Epsilon at the top can just curl back in, and they're all just in very inconvenient and awkward positions. Like, I'm just not sure what the TIE Advanced Proto at the top is going to do. It could go Grid.
Well, it's a very awkward turn to be planning any of your moves now for Greg, because Bill's got the signal that Wampa shot at to throw into a mix.
Yep. And he's got
Jax
to guess correctly.
And Omega Leader have potential to get in each other's way. So if Greg manages to get 4 shots again this turn, it will be quite impressive flying.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that one Epsilon in the middle just pretty much staying where he is.
Yeah, I
other
might even
one just
activate him
doing
in such a way that he
hard
would stay there.
And then, the 2 test pilots.
Yeah.
The one, I think, is likely to just come in behind and try and block Jax. The other one, I guess.
I would actually be looking to grab a Choirgren out of Wampa on this turn. Because it's unlikely. I don't think that the TIE Advanced Prototype can block off of the 4K. I believe the TIE fighters have the 3 and the 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't flown regular TIE fighters in so long.
I don't know, if you did a hard
They're all
one...
the same, Calvin. Just it fits your MO perfectly.
But they don't have upgrades, is the thing. I like ships that have upgrades that are identical.
And you get to put
Crack Black Swan.
a targeting computer on them.
I don't own enough crack shots yet. I only have 3. I'm waiting until Veterans comes out, so then I will have 5 copies of crack shot.
Yeah, it's only in the Kira's Fighter and the YV.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
No, is it not in one
it's-
of Wave...
Veterans, yeah. No, not in Wave 8. It is the YV666, the Kirax,
Fighter, that's it.
and
Will be in
it will be in Veterans. So those are the only sources of crack shot.
For Tomax Bren, is it?
Yeah, for Mr. Recycle.
Yeah.
The greenest TIE Bomber pilot.
Well, you know that everybody's favourite is going to be homing missiles on Tomax Bren with crack shot and extra munitions.
Shh, stop telling them my secrets now.
And then,
But he's unique. I'm not going to get a lot of mileage out of
Yeah.
him.
then you just need Janos to boost his attacks as well.
Well, someone's doing a weird no faction restriction tournament out there, so... Come on, guys, do it.
Yesterday
Do
there
it.
was the build your 90-point squad and pick AN random.
Yeah, but that was a random ship, so you can't guarantee that you'll get the stupid
Oh,
combos.
trust me, if I turn up to any event and draw a random ship, it's gonna be the Hawk.
I don't know, it might be the Psych.
Yeah.
Does it come with HOC in the site? I wouldn't mind it.
I think it does. Mangler.
Mangler and Fouchette.
I don't know.
Yeah, no HLC, I don't believe.
You can put a Mangler on it, it's fine. Still good.
Alright, we have finally hit activation as...
So,
Can't evade. All I can do is barrel roll or target. It's on Walmart right now.
So the Epsilon is trying to puzzle out what to do when you've got Jax there, because Jax is a
This
dick.
is where you need to take Captain Kagi in the list as well, because that makes it even more fun. Can't evade, I can't target lock. Sorry, I can't evade, I can't focus, and I can only target lock the shuttle.
And then, for fun, add Lieutenant Colzet so they don't even get their range 1 bonus. No, your list cannot do fun things, haha!
isn't Colzet the one that...
Or sorry, not Colzet, Zertic Strom.
Yeah.
Zertic Strom. I do like Zertic Strom. He was very valuable for me in our epic Player of the Year event.
Probably the one and only time he's seen play
Possibly.
in a
He actually-
competitive event here at the store.
competitive, quote marks.
Yeah. Hey, there were vital Player of the Year points up for grabs.
But he was actually
So
rather
this
relevant.
leads me to believe that Bill may not have dialed in the K-turn.
I don't know.
That is
Told you.
Unless he was
Hot.
planning to boost out of the way.
It's all about that hard one. Activate wired.
You've got to get your value from Wired.
Yeah. He spent a point on it. He's got to make use of it. So this is banking in.
Yep, that's exactly the play I expected of that prototype.
I actually don't. As stupid as it sounds when I complain about like the Curax fighter, I don't miss the one forwards from the Sigma test pilot from the Tidemans prototype. Having the one banks be green and the hard ones be green, I think is more than good enough to make up for lack of a one forwards.
It is nice to have the one forward sometimes, though.
So it's now looking that he can't take.
Yeah, because Jack says, haha, no. He's a rather annoying fellow, Mr. Jax. What do you expect from a Royal Guardsman?
So a good barrel roller looks to probably block off Rover's move.
Yep.
he is doing that K-turn.
Alright, looks like Wampa did go for the 4, and that will actually give him just enough. Looks like he's just going to be able to clear.
Yeah. Could have just missed some of a barrel roll.
Yeah, if he actually not rolled, he might have been able to be in position to block that. Just because that one template pushes you over and up, so.
I was expecting the bank from Wampa, to be honest. So.
Yeah.
And here is Vesri's attempt to choreograph.
It does not complete.
That is unfortunate for Bill.
Looks like it should still. Is it out of arc of a shuttle? Looks like it's out of arc of a shuttle on the camera.
Well, Vesri's at least going to have a shot. It's not like he's completely deprived here. Jax looks like he's just going to collide into another tie. It's a cloud of ties.
To see if I can figure out what's going on.
Yep. It's a hilarious cloud of ties everywhere.
Yep. So it always takes a couple of turns to queen up the furball.
Yep. These are some of the critical turns because the random damage that manages to slip through on the actionless ships is quite possibly what will decide the game. But
So the damage seems to have gone in the favour of Greg so far. Just Palpatine has done his thing and just.
Even without my phone.
Yep. Looks like Omega Leader's going to clonk again and does not be able to pick up that evade token still. Not that it's really going to help him since he's not shooting this turn.
Or doesn't look like it's being shot. I suppose the test pilot.
Yeah, there are a couple of there are a couple of ships pointing at him. So, like, there is that Epsilon behind him. But that test pilot might actually want to take a crack at Jax. It depends. Because there's a lot of options here.
Depends if he's still alive from Wampa's shot as well, to be honest.
That too. Well, here comes Jax's shot. Ouch.
The two shields.
Yep.
That
So
is
the
one
wounded
that-
test pilot, the test pilot that had taken the hull point is now shields down.
Oh my god! Some hits! I'm shooting, of course, not. I don't have any others.
S3 on the shuttle. His only target.
Yep.
Four shields gone from a shuttle. It did not spend Palpatine now.
Yep.
I don't.
I think that's reasonable given that none of his other ships have an action and he wants to keep them alive. So, but well, also he
I'm
could just.
assuming Palpatine was saved for this dice roll. Yeah.
Yep.
Joke's on you. Two can't shoot. Or two shoot first.
Yeah, and now the shuttle gets to smack somebody around. It looks like it's going to have that TIE fighter and possibly Vessery.
So there we had an example of Jax's shot was totally irrelevant because Wampa just took the
Yeah.
the second damage anyway.
But Jack didn't have another shot. to
No,
take,
I know.
so-
Yep,
But
might as well roll it.
Ended up
See
being
what
not
happens.
relevant.
Because who knows? Wampa might have gotten lucky Or sorry, Jax might have gotten lucky, killed it, and then
Yeah.
Wampa could go annoy somebody else.
It's true.
And you can spend Wampa's ability after a defense dice have been rolled.
You can.
So he might not have even needed to
Yeah.
Palpatine's
convert.
got
Oh,
one.
he'd still need Palpatine to put the crit in
Yeah. Yeah, he may not have needed to.
to Wampa.
Yeah. Yep. Here's a range 1 shot to the back of the interceptor. Not the
So the
best.
target locks are getting maximum efficiency. Unfortunately, those dice aren't cooperating.
Yep. Jax gets out clean.
I don't think Bill's rolled more than 1 hit against anything that rolls 3 evade dice.
Looks like he wants to get rid of. Looks like he's given up on trying to pick up those tokenless ties, and he's just trying to hit the shuttle for something.
Well, so Bill can
Yep.
Bill can break off here, and for the loss of a signal, if he can keep the rest of his stuff alive, it can force a draw. So it is league play.
Yep.
So, update the points.
Could
Yep.
do. So
We're running down on the points for a bit here, or the time rather. Now the prototype removed, Bill's lost a lot of blocking power.
And Bill just got half points for the shuttle.
Did you get
believe.
the last shield?
Yep, its shields are down.
Okay.
So now I would expect Vessery to K-turn because there's no realistic way for the shuttle to block it. At least without, just basically sacrificing itself for the 1 turn of advantage. And carrying Palpatine, that's hardly worth it. If it was at 1 hull, I might actually consider that. Just to make Vessery in an even worse position for the future.
Yeah.
Well, I've used Palpatine to not kill a ship so that I could bump into it to not fly off the table in the next round. So change my angles and stuff. There's loads of fun ways of using that shuttle and abusing Palpatine. Palpatine away a hit so that it's impossible to kill them. Keep them on the table so that you can't fly off and can change your angle enough with a bump to make sure you can actually turn again.
Yeah. That's a very narrow case.
I've done it.
Yeah, if you're Aiden and Michael, you totally could play a game in that time.
Oh no, they needed an extra 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Approximately, yeah.
I don't think I've seen a faster game than that.
I think they're still in a good position to jam up the potential destinations for the list that Greg has.
It is one of the disadvantages over the regular Palpatine aces that Imperial A-holes have for me. It's a double-sided coin. You get the advantage of having more ships for Palpatine, but it also makes it harder to fly them all as well, because none of them want to fly in a formation.
Yep.
So it's one thing to consider when building your Palpatine list if you want that 4th ship.
Yeah. How are you going to keep them all out of each other's way? Like Wampa, it's okay to bump just because Wampa doesn't really care very much about his actions. But he's not the one you really need to worry about since he moves first. He's more likely to go unblocked than the higher skill pilots are. Especially since people are trying to kill him, not block him.
Bill's choices are somewhat limited here.
Yeah.
Just with
He has
the way
to-
things have got. His 2 Epsilon squadrons being at the back. No real way to get through. But
We
he
don't.
may actually be fine with that if he just.
Do we
kinda
need to
bumps.
get through?
No, that's. I mean, I'm sure he would love an action, but if he's focusing on the shuttle, then
Yeah.
he may just want to keep them where they are, pretty much.
That one Epsilon actually looks like it has the ability to just hop 2 forwards into that clear space and grab a target lock or something.
Looks like he's actually
Oh.
jumping all the way through.
Looks
That was
like
a
he's trying
lot.
to get the block on the shuttle's move.
Try and lock it into place.
Yeah. Which,
I'm not sure he really needed to. It wouldn't surprise me if the shuttle was
going
either
into a
just doing a 0
or a 1.
or yeah.
Because Greg has initiative in this matchup, I believe.
Yes.
Well, in this game
do
at
think,
least, it'll
obviously-
swap next game.
Yeah. If Bill can kill the shuttle and not lose another ship, he will win the match.
Quite likely. And with only 13 minutes, that is actually a realistic outcome. Especially as long as if he manages to keep being in the way of everything with everything.
And it does also get him out of range of Wampa, it looks like. Before Wampa's moved, obviously. So, if Wampa's also doing a 5 forwards,
And into Jax.
You know, if you're one of those Epsilons and you got Wampa firing at you, I don't think you care too much. If he has to spend Palpatine and he's trying to do it to get 1 damage on one of those, then hey, I'm happy with that.
I believe the one that went that far is the one that only has 1 hit left.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one that was coming in from the top that has full health. Right.
Yep. So awesome block by Billy was the block he was looking for.
Prototype.
So I'm expecting the K turn here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Breaking off.
Prototype's just going to get out of there. Well, looks like trying to get back around to do something else on the other side. If he's behind the shuttle, then he doesn't have to worry about the shuttle, and he can potentially poke somebody once he turns around. Okay. So now we see what Wampa does. Help the safe conservative play out of him. Clear the stress, crawl forward, don't hit Jax, potentially take an action if he so pleases.
First time in a while.
What's he doing here?
So 4K from Vessery in his defender.
I know, it's an amazing surprise.
What's to be the
Is this
2
a sloop?
signals? Yep.
Yep. Shouldn't worry too much about being shot at, so. Now, let's see what way Jax tried to choose to get out. Ah, a hard one. Going to go put him in position to potentially prey on that prototype, or he could roll in and do something else.
Both players have got lots of points left on the table. So. Not sure I like this roll. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Well, it looks like he's trying to focus on Vessery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shuttle's got a shot, and then Omega can have a little pop as well. And Wampa potentially.
Yeah, it looks like the shuttle definitely is.
Could get all 4 shooting at Vessery. Try and if we can kill Vessery, that's 36 points.
I don't believe Wampa will have an angle, but he could.
It's close.
Oh, doesn't look like he's going for it. Looks like he's actually just looking to spread some damage around, pick off some of the other ties. He may actually have been trying to draw a bead on that Epsilon squadron, which is a little easier to kill than Vessery is.
So
Right.
there goes.
Yep, there goes the damaged one. So that'll add another 15 points to Greg's total, putting him in the lead for here. Yep, Jack's going to try and poke at Vessery, maybe hope to get some damage on there, or at least make him spend that token.
Two shields from Vessery.
Yep, looks like he's going to hold it for the damage. And here's Vessery's shot back. That's clearly on the shuttle. Bill misses the table with most of those dice.
Spends the target what?
Yep.
Did you not spend the focus on defense, Bill?
No, he let it hit.
You let it hit? Yeah.
Yeah.
I only have hull left.
All right, well, that's going to put the shuttle at 2 health. Not really much ability to exploit that, though. So it's going to have to be another turn to finish it off. Yep.
Which one was that?
Face down auto damage to the other Epsilon.
I hate Wampa. It messes my system up.
Oh well.
This looks like shuttle on Vessery.
This is why I was expecting the sign or test pilot to do the K turn, just to add his shots onto a shuttle.
Yeah,
Potentially
exactly.
kill it, take it off this round. I don't, not 100% why it broke off. It's not like next turn the shuttle has to move before him anyway. So,
Yeah, I think he was looking for the conservative play, but it's not paying off for him.
because Vessery's going to struggle to get a shot on the shuttle this turn. The Epsilon squadron isn't in the best position. Well,
Yep.
I suppose there's a potential for swoop.
Is that
I don't know if that
maybe-
Epsilon can grab a sloop because of the.
Too close to the table. And Vessery blocks the other
Yep.
one.
I don't think it has a good maneuver into the board.
So I think maybe one of the reasons that CNR test pilot didn't K-turn is so that it could take the target lock so that Vessery would get his ability.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought the Epsilon had taken the target lock. Unless
I
that's the
think it
target
shows
lock on
to
it.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with Vessery. You do need something else to help you set up a target lock, and sometimes it can force you into a little awkward of a position, given what you've chosen to do. The prototype does have the ability to grab a hard one and curl back into the fight, but I would actually be looking to Koagrin and go for a long-range poke at the shuttle.
You have to look at Karnar's options here. Now, Asteroid is in front of him.
Yeah, and he's stressed.
It has to be doing the. It's got to. I don't even know.
I don't think
it looks like the hard twos don't give him any good options.
Yeah, it feels like he's going to hit those just from where the camera is.
Might be able to go right or.
Yeah, one of those might get him out.
Left will probably bump the shuttle, or
it's uncomfortably close though.
But just with the way the CNOT has pilot and the Epsilon squadron, like I don't think Connor would be too unhappy if he came this way and bumped.
Yeah.
Because it's possible that Vessery might bump as well. And
I see a bump in Vesser's future.
And then, of course, Connor may well have a chance to finish Vessery.
Yeah, there's not a lot of clear space on this board for the ships to go. I still like the prototype grabbing a Koagrin just because that will point it back into the table this turn. And I don't feel like Jax is able to
capitalize on it.
Yeah.
There's lots of options. It'll snowball from one choice. So it's a very hard read for both players here.
Yeah. Omega Leader is almost certainly going to want to do something conservative because it's 2 straight, for example, is going to be very difficult to block, and I'm not sure it's worth using Vessery in that way. So. Honestly, I would have. This is why I was expecting the Koagrin out of the Epsilon, just because it's in a really terrible spot right now. It has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like it may have got to do the hard one and then barrel roll back into a table.
Like it's just very awkward from here.
That's how close it is to a table edge. The time is pretty much irrelevant now because this is looking like the last turn.
Yeah, they're still chewing on their options and activation.
As is always the way with our streamed games, the players are all playing at the far edge where the timer is.
It's because they secretly hate Chris.
Yeah.
I was tempted to set the camera.
Not secretly.
I was tempted to set the camera up right next to us and point it the other way this time. I don't actually know why I didn't.
Because you hate yourself too.
Then they would have just played at the other side, so it's fine.
Well, I thought, but if I put the camera at the other end, the left-hand player list is actually above the left-hand player as we look at it. Whereas in now, we have to commentate backwards from all of my labeling.
Viewers don't know that.
Nobody cares about your labeling anyways. Because they don't. Okay, well, they're trying to figure out how this block works out. Yeah, that's definitely a hit.
Now we're super smart. Now I know exactly what's going to happen.
Looks like the Epsilon there managed to just barely squeeze past.
I think he's hoping to give the shuttle space to move into, in the hopes that.
Just a very awkward turn. With all the measure. This was all of the marking and positioning.
X-Wing, the game we need surgeon's hands.
I didn't think that was going to work. Yeah.
Bill's exhausted now. So I'm pretty sure the timer was almost done.
Yep. Just check the timer real quick.
And this is going to be
the time
last.
is up. This is the last one. We were 1 minute to go before that Epsilon moved. So that will be time in the round. So this will be the last round, guys.
Being able to score a Pyrrhic victory.
So, if everybody's having trouble, I can try and lower the bit rate on the stream. But it will... Okay.
Problems with the stream?
Apparently so. Some people are choking on it.
So Wampa with the big 3 bank. And the test pilot
Yeah, it came
with
into
the
the
hard
board.
one.
I don't particularly like this because Bill's in no position to gain more points this turn,
Yeah.
most likely. Unless he can get lucky and blow up a TIE fighter.
No, it's all on what Vessery does.
No.
4K.
No. Looks like Vessery is going to end up chilling right in front of that shuttle.
Yeah.
Vessery could kill Kano.
Well, it depends on where Karno goes.
Yeah, Kano gets to move. Omega Leader also gets to move.
Ouch. Alright. Yep, that's going to be very, very bad for Vessery. Jax doesn't get actions. Ever.
I don't think he... Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, I think he was going all out for trying to kill Vessery. Risking Kano. Looks like range 2.
So no damage so far.
Second shot.
One damage.
This is from...
Yeah, I think he's
who?
considering
This is
using
from
Palpatine.
Vessery.
Oh, okay.
No, this
this
is
is
from
from
Jax
Kano.
on Vessery.
Sorry, yeah. Jax onto Vessery.
Hmm.
Still alive.
Evades.
Should have added the crit.
Yep. But no way to know that. Silly results oriented.
So if this is 4 hits or 4 criticals,
No, I am not.
That is 4 natural.
so
One Pyrrhic victory.
That's not Jax down.
no, so it was not a major explosion or a direct hit, so Jax whipped.
Roll your dice. You might get 2. Oh. Yeah, you were 2 first.
So there's still some firing to go.
Yep. The shuttle could still pick off Vessery. Ooh, a natural 4 out of the
That
shuttle.
looks to be a dead Vessery.
Yeah.
Yep,
That
so
is the power of the dark side.
Greg wins the first match. As we've discussed multiple times, but we'll cover again, for the League format, we do play a second game with the same lists, where initiative flips. So
If it was tied.
Yep.
Is it
If it was tied, I
No.
believe it. Oh.
even
Oh, if they had the choice,
it
it
was
doesn't
not
flip.
tied. Sorry, yeah. If it is tied for initiative, sorry. I understand your question now.
Yeah. If
I-
someone had an initiative bid and
They
they
get
had
to
the
choose
choice, they
both
still
sides.
had to choose.
Yep, sorry.
So I didn't actually see.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'm
clean
gonna-
win for Greg in game 1, and now it's a reverse, game 2.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it back over to the desk quickly, and then I'm going to stop the stream and restart it just to see if a lowered bitrate helps any of your guys' problems with refreshing. So we'll be right back in 1 second. so we're back again. So I've lowered the bitrate slightly, so hopefully that'll help with your bitrate issues and having to refresh as much.
Yep. Now, the initiative reversal is not actually going to have a major effect in this particular matchup because we've only got the 3 ships at the same pilot skill.
It made quite a lot of difference in that last game.
Compared, a little bit. Because one of them is the big lumbering shuttle. But it's not as if you both got 2 aces at skill 9.
It still made a huge difference.
Yeah. It's not. It's
With them all
not
in that
Fell
big
versus
fur
Whisper.
ball.
It's not
It
the
was
completely
still-
irrelevant, we've got no overlapping pilot skills and identical obstacles. But it is hardly the incredibly relevant all of our aces are the same pilot skill.
It's amazing how much difference it can make, though.
Yep.
Just
Even-
for little things.
Yep.
Yeah, Bill's
It's definitely
throwing
not
his dice
nothing.
everywhere. And then
Perhaps he's attempting to punish them for their miserable failings. Practicing the Vader style of management where when a subordinate fails, you choke them to death. And discard them. Well, Ozzel
He was choking admirals to death.
Admiral Ozzel was an idiot.
He was clumsy and stupid.
came out
Came
of
out of light
hyperspace.
speed.
Oh, come on. He screwed up. Like, hey, if you read some of the canon stuff, like, when he was captain of the Reprisal, he let 5 stormtroopers desert on his watch, failed to kill them, got into a ton of trouble, and Mara Jade told Vader to keep it, or, well, asked Vader to keep an eye on him because he was either incompetent or stupid.
Well, that's all legends now. It didn't necessarily happen.
Well, this is also Legends. So, some of these ships only don't exist in the official canon.
That's true.
So clearly we must be in the Legends canon.
Okay, so we're gonna start the asteroid placement. I'll get the timer ready for once they're done. And then I'm going to run downstairs as the game's starting and grab myself a drink and a chocolate bar. Because Greg was mean and got pizza earlier and didn't bring me any. It wasn't pizza burgers though, so the Twitch chat can relax.
Chris brought some kind of curry, which smelled delicious.
Chicken vindaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that was my lunch.
You British people and your Indian food.
oh, so good.
It's got A-Wings in it. Episode 8.
Oh, yes.
A-Wings, episode
Yeah, but
8.
A-Wings are already canon.
Yeah, but you know,
Are they going to be...
if I was royalty in the
Upgraded
UK, I would also just turn up randomly at reset for episode 8 and go, "Hi, can I sit in the cockpit, please?" Okay, so we're deploying now.
There'll
So
be some perks to being heir to the throne.
Like there weren't already some.
okay, so I'm gonna leave you guys to discuss the pros and cons of this matchup whilst I run downstairs.
Yes, please, Chris.
Cool.
Sure. And some M&Ms. Yeah.
Again, they seem inclined to set up on the wrong side of the board because they're jerks.
Will's just spreading them out everywhere.
Well, yeah, that's a definitely greater amount of dispersion.
You're not allowed to touch it. Even though I didn't look at it.
Now, with this asteroid placement being fairly neutral, it's going to force Greg to, well, pick based on where those ties are, because he's not got a lot of information to work with. Looks like he's just going to sit up at the top of the screen for the block again.
Yeah, if the last game is anything to go by, it
Yep.
looked like he was going after Vessery pretty hard.
Looks like we're going to have to pull the scoreboard again, because they insist on playing on that side of the board. And Wampa's going to be used for the block again, if there is a block. have successfully caught people off guard by faking a shuttle block and then suddenly leaping it out, and then they're off balance. It wasn't super effective, but it did throw people's mental... It did seem to throw my opponent's mental estimation of how the match was supposed to go off.
Because he thought you were going to be terrible, and then he like started playing properly and kicked his ass.
Well, no, I set up the shuttle so that it would block, like pretty much every Paul Paces ever does, right? And then I didn't block.
Yeah, so he must have thought that you were incompetent and didn't know how to fly it, and then was like, oh, this is going to be easy, and then underestimated you.
Yeah, you could say that.
Mind games.
What are you complaining about?
I didn't say anything. I'm just going to rustle this so you can hear Greg having M&M's, ruining everything.
Other chocolate bars are available.
You and your crinkly foil.
So that's why I got Diet Pepsi. I was going to get Diet Cola, but with a Coca-Cola bottle from Calvin, you having Coke, I didn't want to think we were endorsed.
Well, when Coke starts giving us money, you can do that.
Yeah. So, you know,
Sponsorship deal? What?
all the
Yeah, they'll give us a
Coke
free can
people
of
who are
Coke.
out
So
there,
lucrative.
all the people watching who work for Coke, feel free to contact us.
Also, I work for the rudest powers of chaos, according to the shirt.
Indeed.
I'm not sure how well that feels on camera.
Probably not there.
So for all of our regular viewers, is the stream back to normal quality? Is it still buffering, or are we having any problems there? I got Twix, by the way. 2 fingers of fun. Chocolatey.
Chris likes 2 chocolatey fingers of fun. I'm not going to go any further with that. So is the stream back to normal in that Chris and I both sound weird because we have accents?
Don't look at my dial.
It's a Defender one, it's a 4K.
I'm going backwards.
So what happens if Bill deploys right on the very edge, does a 4K, but then slightly misplaces his ship, just, you know, a little bit, so that when he does his 4K the next turn, he's actually off the board.
It's off the board.
Yeah.
And don't tell your opponent you did it.
Okay, so that took them 4 minutes and 30 seconds to deploy. Okay, let's get this match on. Some turns by Epsilon Squadron pilots. It's exciting.
Focused while I can.
Rackrow's pre-Jax focuses up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the league matches recently, you started the timer before setup, and it took them almost 10 minutes. So it was really a 50-minute match.
He should have played quicker.
They should, yeah. I mean, Aiden and Michael, great example.
We could have 12 games tonight.
20-minute games. Speed X-Wing.
Oh, hey, Jax is off in a flanking position today. Alright, well,
Look at that big line of TIE fighters. So intimidating.
We're just catching up with Twitch chat.
how silly.
Slam on a Falcon. Ludicrous.
Not a K-Wing.
Only K-Wing slam.
No, only missile boats slam. The K-Wing is a lie.
I heard that they're gonna make assault gunboats canon in episode 8.
Maybe.
It's a filthy lie that I hope is true.
I can troll just as well as Twitch chat.
I wish they'd done the assault gunboat. It would have been a great midweight, non-TIE fighter.
I also heard that Luke doesn't have an X-Wing anymore. He's going to get off the island in his Sky Ray blast boat.
Skip Ray.
His Skip Ray blast boat. It's be awesome.
As the guys at Fantasy Flight like to say, are you trying to get me to speculate about future releases?
That is a dangerous road.
That is the first time I've actually seen it on the rotation, because you say it doesn't work. This is really good radio, but the intro we use for the show now was a bit of footage that Greg got me to, so I could play around with it, and it features on some of the TVs that are in the store. I've never seen it until just now, because it only functions on one TV that faces away from the cash register.
Yeah.
Well, clearly you should just go up and stare at the TVs on company time more.
Yeah.
Research.
That's what I do.
Corporate research, right? Make sure you're getting what you paid for.
If I put some live League of Legends on there, he'd be all over it.
I've been officially informed that I am not allowed to watch League of Legends on work time.
The funny thing is I had to actually tell him that.
It was research, and I wasn't sat watching it. It was on in the background. It's okay, there's a lull in the season now, I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks, and then there's MSI.
MSI doesn't really count.
See, if you had live X-Wing playing, and I won't say anything about it.
I'll put that on every...
Oh yeah, just actually, create a playlist of all the stuff and then throw it up there.
That's the plan.
It's a genius plan.
I actually talked to the owners about how I can get actual good content on the TVs, and I didn't really get a good answer, so...
Well, you can tell him this from someone who spends probably too much time here. I don't look at them, because I looked at them once, realized it's never anything other than just say, hey, this is an event screen, and I stopped caring.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if they've ever changed, because I don't look at them.
They have changed, but...
See, I don't know that because I didn't look at them ever again. I just assumed it was the same.
They have occasionally changed. I know we had the new one for the retro video game section put on there.
That's true. That's my favourite section of the store. Although you've got a better collection than me, I'll have to try and catch up. So, it was an awfully eventful turn one, where
everything just flew forward a little.
Suppose,
Jax was a little aggressive, so...
We'll get you caught up again in the game.
Yeah.
No, I like that from Jax.
Yeah, Bill's not in a position to turn on him when he throws himself out like that because of the fact that his ships are so strung out and pointed the other direction.
Right, it would be a case of feeding Jax one TIE fighter at a time.
Yeah. And that's just a bad plan.
And TIE fighters are not flown by sand people. They don't fly in single file to hide their numbers.
Not that would work in space.
No, I've seen the targeting computers, the advanced targeting computer that Vader had. I don't know how good it would be at spotting the ship behind.
Well, you've got a point there. I mean, obviously he couldn't just kill Luke first. For whatever reason. But you do have to admit, well, maybe the physical presence of the ship in the way would probably block the shot.
And that's the advanced targeting computer. Oh dear.
And a ship flown by one of the best pilots
In the
ever.
galaxy. Just imagine if Vader actually had a good ship.
Well, it's because the TIE Advance looks like the most like his old Ada 2.
So I was just imagining if the Star Viper had an evade again as a random tangent.
That would be broken, Chris. The ship is so good already. It's had a natural evade.
The basic targeting computer is an etch a
Break the
sketch.
game.
Oh dear.
You just have those two little knobs. You've got to draw a little picture on there.
Oh dear.
And then someone else comes along and shakes it up and he gets really mad and like force chokes them.
And that's what you get for 1977.
I was scoping out the competition with the Scum and Villainy podcast on the drive-in, and they were talking about Omega Leader and how her ability would be played out if it was a movie. So, is she a force-sensitive person, and that's why they just can't focus on shooting her? The theory that was put forward that I got on board with was that she was just the most attractive pilot in the whole of the Empire, and that nobody wants to shoot her down. So that's now how I picture a Mega Leader's ability to be.
They put her on pinup posters. Join the Empire. I'm sure someone has done those somewhere on the internet.
Hellrunner used to be supposed to go, but
Well, that was 20 years ago.
Oh, wave one.
That's why all the TIE fighters want to be so close.
Apart from Mauler, you don't want Mauler flying that close. Liability.
Yeah, he's creepy. Alright, well, looks like he's trying to actually deny Karnor and just throwing everything at the rest of the crew.
Looks like Wampa could have some fun.
So did Bill turn one of those Epsilon pilots towards Karnar, or is it going away?
No, it's to be going away.
Nope, that's a turn away.
It's just hanging out the back. Like,
Yeah. I
you
expected
guys go in. I'm just chilling back here for a bit.
I expected the 5 forwards from that one, and
Yep.
really to go aggressive onto Omega Leader and Wampa.
Yeah, I would have tried to coalesce and put all of the pressure onto the rest of the squadron, force Jax to go really aggressive. Because of the direction that Jax is pointed, he cannot actually come in super aggressively. The fastest he can go is the hard 3 and then boost. It's not like he can go 5 and boost.
So
but the fastest he could theoretically go, even if he wasn't stressed, because of the angle. Like in the case where he's stressed, he can't even go that fast.
But the hard 2 from Jax, and then the boost, and then the barrel roll.
If he'd done an angled boost last turn, he would actually still have been able to jump 5 into the fight, or jump 4 rather, and still clear that stress. But as it stands, Greg was looking to not have the option of looking to play Jax a little more conservatively than that.
So Vessery's just noticed how hot Omega Leader is and decided that he definitely won't be modifying his dice there.
Yeah, maybe that's like the equivalent of Omega Leader sends Vessery a little like nude selfie or something.
Through the targeting computers.
Through the targeting.
Yeah, that's why there has to be the target lock.
The other one that Paul Heaver's take on it was that it's a really advanced targeting computer that scrambles things.
That's no fun.
It's an interesting theory, technologically plausible, but she's just super hot, man.
Yeah,
It's just no fun.
I prefer that. Makes more sense.
Part of the targeting computer just broadcasts the selfie. Alright, well, at least Jax has a shot this turn.
Selfie wearing nothing but the pilot helmet. Stupid question. Did you watch Game of Thrones last night?
Yeah, I loved the way they brought Ned Stark back from the dead. That was pretty good. I like that.
I didn't see that coming because it's not in the book, but we're past the books now.
Yeah.
I don't actually watch this show, so I don't know if you guys are screwing with me.
We're not screwing with you, we're screwing with Twitch chat.
I only watched up till about season 3 before going, I don't care anymore.
Only if you shoot at Omega Leader.
So, what's going on?
Bill's got the decision.
Twitch chat is freaking out.
Yeah, so he's gonna roll the naked dice.
Did you guys like the part where the dragons formed Voltron?
That was pretty awesome.
Earth, wind,
Fire. What the hell kind of power is heart?
nobody knows. Nobody knows. Captain Planet. What a zero.
Okay. Looks like the shuttle is actually going to be out of play, so this is actually a fairly interesting turn. Not a lot of damage going back and forth as we're altering.
So
Wampa.
a crit slides under Vessery's shields. Sorry, a hit.
And that was the first damage.
Yep.
I know there's a mad dog in the chat.
I think it was a natural crit as well.
Yep.
Yeah. A naturally rolled to crit.
Was it spent to target lock? Doesn't seem to have done anything. Nor did it. Nope.
No damage.
Yeah. Range 3 through a rock.
Oh yeah.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Greg.
Oh!
The one hit gets through the 5 dice defense.
Paid off.
Because green dice.
That's
Your pathetic
So-
green dice will betray you.
so many times I've seen that happen.
So
You,
they're
you
asking
fly
why we-
well. You get the range 1 modified shot and don't get
Oh my
anything
god, I
through.
did 2 damage.
And you get
2 damage.
Omega Leader is at 1. Because green dice hate Greg now.
you take the range 3 pot shots through a rock with 2 dice attack, and those are the ones that hit.
This is why,
That's
unless
why-
it is actually a mathematical impossibility, you always roll the dice.
This is why you focus the ships that don't have auto thrusters first in this list.
Yeah.
That'd be almost all of them.
Fel does even more damage. Well, sorry, Karnar does even less damage than Fel. So,
Yeah, because you often won't have that as many tokens.
Yeah.
And
so
See-
you just clean up Omega Leader first, if possible. One per in the shuttle.
Yep.
And then the game is probably over before Karnar's cleaned up your list.
the shuttle's not even really in play because even with a hard turn, it's going to be in a bit of an awkward spot to get a good shot next turn. Jax is Jax is going to be able to grab a decent position by going in hard next turn, but
It
could be too late.
depends how hard you want to go in with Jax, because
Yep.
you want him skirting the outside of the fight.
yeah, you want them tucking in behind them to screw up their actions, not jumping into their guns. But at this point, well, better him than Omega Leader.
Twitch chat would like to know about our mascot, the poutine eating Jawa. When's that gonna be a thing, Greg?
Soon, yeah. Poutine! So tasty.
This is what happens when you give the forums an opportunity to help improve your show.
Now I want some poutine.
Go across the road and get some bacon poutine.
Well, you inner sphere Surats might call it a vulture, but it will always be a mad dog. Freeborn filth. Anyways,
No, that one went over my head.
hey, a gaming reference missed Chris.
I'm assuming that it is a StarCraft 2 reference.
Nope.
No, it went over my head then, 'cause I know they have vultures.
Yeah, Audio Weasel is not wrong about that.
Ultimate boat face. out of spite, I would actually just name a boat Ultimate Boatface.
Out of spite, I would have named it something very similar but different, just to spite them. Okay, internet.
Ultimate Screw You.
Still got 4 shit.
No, Chris is the one who doesn't get that reference.
Oh, see,
I'm the youngest one on the desk, and I got the BattleTech reference.
That's why, you see. BattleTech is just not... I tried to play it once, but I was being shown how to play it by a really, really nice Power Gaming jerk. So...
Was it rich?
Oh, dear.
Okay, well, we're on Dials phase here. Okay, looks like this Epsilon is going to slew around and try to annoy Karnor. Hey, I'm just really waiting for Iron Wind to release the Mad Dog 2 or 3 or whichever one it is they're doing.
Yeah, I don't even think I ever played the computer games. I was too busy playing Wing Commander because it's got, Luke Skywalker in it.
The thing to remember about the board game is record cheats. Everyone loves record cheats.
And I used to play Adeptus Titanicus, so I had bigger Titans and stupid.
What about the new thing that they've got down there with the giant, whatever they're called, Imperial Knights?
Yeah, the new Renegades box.
Yeah.
Go
buy a Warlord Titan.
If I hadn't have just bought into Age of Sigmar, I would...
Oh, and that's not good. That's not good at all. That is a rock for the shuttle.
No, winning the lottery would have been him rolling the crit and having to Palpatine it down.
Well, at least it has shield, so that would be...
stream games that I've commentated on, I don't recall ever seen anyone have to Palpatine down a crit from having to land on rocks. Yet in both of my games when I was running it in the Star Championships here last year, every time anything got anywhere near a rock, I had to Palpatine it away and waste Palpatine.
Well, Chris,
you should just fly better.
Solution. Don't go on the rocks.
It's like with dice,
Fly
they hate
better.
me.
Maybe you should just fly better and not have to roll those dice. Don't give them the satisfaction. Alright, looks like the TIE Defender is going to sneak in behind Wampa like a filthy Capellan. BattleTech reference. I'm just running away with the BattleTech references. Must reference different games. All the different games. But frankly, that's a very strong maneuver. Just because, well...
Because it's on the Defender's dial.
Yes,
so
it's right there. It's pretty good.
If only it was green.
It could be.
And I got an evade when I did it.
Yeah.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Oh man.
It'd be so broken. They would never do
What you
that.
could do, Bill, is you could...
And if it
you
costs
could
2
do your
points
white
less, right?
K-turn and then use lightning reflexes.
Oh yeah, there's the genius play. Okay, yeah, again, Jax played it fairly conservative. I always felt like the BattleTech record sheet should have actually been fairly condensed.
You have to remember, the thing with games like BattleTech is half of the fun is people who don't know how to play it, looking at it and going, what the hell is this? I'm not ever going to play this game in a trillion years.
Maybe you just need to play some Alpha Strike. There, you can fit 8 mechs on one sheet of paper. And then it's just a couple little bubbles per ship.
I think I've
Per
got
mech.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Okay, this is a very, very bad turn for Greg. A lot of bumps. No one in particularly great range.
So this is what, Jax?
Yeah.
Epsilon.
Range 3.
And an Epsilon.
Range 3 at the Epsilon.
Nobody plays Starfleet battles.
Oh.
Yep, clean evade.
Oh dear, I have to talk about Warhammer stuff later on anyway. You guys are going to be really impressed. I've not actually spoke to Greg about what charity we should do stuff for, but yeah, announcements and everything in the quiet zones. Oh, Mech Warrior.
Mech Warrior Tactics. I'm sorry.
Silent Death.
Okay, so here's Vessery. Here's Vessery!
So if anyone wants to play any of these games, I'm pretty sure we have stock of all of them.
I have seen the Starfleet battles down near the Reaper stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's piles of it. I don't.
Tons of Battletech.
we have everything.
Car Wars, we've still got some of the old Car Wars stuff. Silent Death, we've got a ton of Silent Death stuff.
Wampa gets off lightly without
Yeah, so
dying
is this
horribly.
where Twitch chat now tries to troll you into finding a game we don't have?
Good luck with
One of the largest stores in Canada. Well, there might be something you don't have.
It's possible.
Do you have Battletoads? I mean, you do have the pile of retro video games.
Could be buried in there somewhere behind something.
Anyways, 1 point of damage to
Wampa,
Wampa.
you can wait until after you've rolled the dice. If he's got the crit, he'd have to
Yes.
Palpatine the crit in earlier or roll it naturally. But
Yeah.
after you've rolled the dice, it's like crack shot, exactly
Yep.
the same.
You can do it on a compare results step. So
Yeah.
you can roll dice, see if it's better, and then let it go. So that's going to be a hull point to that Epsilon.
So I'll double check.
Yep. Wampa gets a natural crit, so that's pretty nice. And that Epsilon's going to light up the shuttle. For 2.
Why would you actually make your game and like send it to backers and not just take the money and run off to Aruba? I mean, all these other people doing Kickstarters are doing it wrong, clearly.
Yeah, well, terrible people.
You know, I have a pretty strong dislike for the way Kickstarter is used nowadays.
Well, there was that one idiot who kickstarted potato salad.
It's not, it's just. No, anything. I won't go into it. For a change.
Canadian foreign language cards.
Canadian is a foreign language.
It is if you're American.
Because it's in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, they speak some
speak American.
bastardized thing that vaguely resembles the Queen's English.
The,
It uses most of the same alphabet, but they don't seem to have as many U's.
Yeah.
we've actually got some
something
really,
against yous.
really exclusive good prizing coming up for a regional stream. Do you want to talk about regionals?
Oh yeah, regionals. It's only 12 days away now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 10 days left for everyone to pre-register. It is pre-reg only to make life much, much easier for us. So we can actually get the number of people and get the lists in beforehand and be prepared. So we've got the regular regionals kit prizes. We're hoping to have some more Sentry Box store credit as well. And we do have some exclusive prizing, but I'm not going to tell you about that now because that's going to be a reveal
next
on
week.
next Monday's show.
Yeah. So,
But I've seen it and it's very cool.
yeah, I really like them. Yeah, we've got some exclusive prizing we'll give one set away next week, and then we'll have an even better prize to give away if you tune in and actually watch a regional stream.
So yeah, May 7th, bright and early. I think we're hoping to have the first game starting by 9:30.
Yeah, Mountain Daylight Time.
Yeah. You'll have to figure out what...
GMT -6.
It's going to be a long day, but it should be a good one.
Nobody eats Skittles.
Taste the rainbow.
I'm willing to bet that somewhere there is an American who has boycotted them over that.
We'll not touch that on the stream. Tune into one of my Dice 8 production streams for more vulgar, offensive statements that aren't endorsed by the Sentry Box. So, as I was briefly touching on early on, Bill turned up to our Games Workshop game day that we ran on Saturday and convinced me that it was an awesome idea to buy into Age of Sigmar, despite already having 4 fully painted fancy armies. So...
Not a single Chaos army.
One of them was Chaos Demons, but you can't use that for Path to Glory, so I had to, just in case my wife's listening, I had to buy a brand new army.
Yeah, he had no choice. Bill Double Dog dared him.
And just to make it all the more fun, the army's randomly generated on a table, because why would you want to pick stuff you actually want?
It's chaos. Everything has to be random. That's GW Chaos for you. I mean, we had to put some control on into it because at one point I had my army consisted of 4 models, and it's like, okay, this isn't gonna work. I can't do this.
So we decided the first weekend of the actual campaign is going to be on the 21st of May, which is 29 days away now.
Yep.
And
About.
I have to work the Calgary Expo this weekend. Then I have
you do.
X-Wing Regionals the weekend after.
Yeah.
Then I have the grand opening of Sparta Games in Omaha the weekend after that. And then I believe I'm supposed to have this army fully painted.
That's right, Chris.
So
Yeah, work harder, Chris.
Get cracking.
I thought it would be a really good idea to do a charity stream on the Sunday after the X-Wing event. So I will be doing a painting stream if anyone wants to come along and watch me try to paint an entire army in 7 hours. Is the store open for on Sunday?
Yeah.
Are you doing that here?
Yep, I'll be in the Sentry Box on Sunday the 8th of May painting an entire Chaos army in 7 hours.
So you can tune in and literally watch paint dry.
Yep.
That is good.
For a good cause to be named at a later date once I've set up the charity page to put money towards.
I may actually join you and see how much crap I can get done that day. Take a break from the X-Wing.
The condition of Chris being able to do that is, of course, that he has to paint my entire copy of Space Hulk as well.
On the same day.
On the same day, yeah.
I'll paint you a copy of Space Hulk as practice for painting my own copy of Space Hulk.
already most of the right color anyways. I mean, Blood Angels are red, and then some more red, and then some gold, and then some more red.
For my copy of Space Hulk, I will be using Deathwing Terminators because I want to win. And Blood Angels suck ass.
See, I meant my first edition copy of Space.
Yeah, right now that's GW's fault, so.
Oh, I'm just know that you're a Blood Angels player, Calvin, so I've got to get those Legion rivalries.
But my favorite Legion is the Alpha Legion. So my favorite Legion could be any Legion. Or all of them. Yeah. We've infiltrated them all.
Nobody likes the Alpha Legion, as I've told you before.
That's because we're better than you.
So meanwhile, in this game, build a hard turn with 1 Epsilon, presumably to try and cut off Omega Leader and finish her
Yeah, it's
off.
just a setup. It's not really... He's not even in a position to really block Omega Leader.
No.
But it is in a position to block Wampa and keep Wampa in that tight, corralled little space.
So that was a little hard one from that Epsilon. It was a hard 2, I believe, from the other one.
Oh, looks like Wampa's actually going to cruise past right into that Epsilon sights.
So instead of that other Epsilon at the far side going for Carnor, he chose to turn in and focus on Omega Leader. The shuttle just moved straight up. So he's now heading straight towards that rock.
Yeah, I think he was expecting a attempt to block from the prototype that was in front of it, and he wanted to do that to try and get clear, because if he had been blocked, he wouldn't have gotten off that rock. But of course, the prototype, well, jumped behind him, and now he's just in an even worse position because the shuttle is not in a position to really contribute to the fight. Ooh, Vessery cruises in. Just token up. Yeah, Omega Leader's just grabbing that bank to try and clear some space. Like a reasonably safe play just to avoid suffering too much. Grab and evade for safety rather than trying to pick up a target lock, so.
I think she is locked onto Vessery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vessery
should have a shot.
Actually, yeah, Vessery is probably going to take that shot just because, like, those ties pressuring Wampa. Well, hard to say. Wampa has 2 health, so.
Yeah.
TIE fighters firing at TIE fighters. 2 health is a little on the uncommon side for damage.
So a little boost from Carnor just to get into range 1.
Try and shut down those tokens. If he's gotten close enough, then poor Vessery is not getting anything out of that focus. What? Well, here's him measuring for the shot. Here, I honestly don't know what he would be looking to do. I would be looking to try and, like, put on some damage. Like, maybe even scratch that Epsilon. Because that Epsilon is really threatening Wampa. Getting rid of it is going to make Vessery have a much harder decision to make. That's not that good. Crit blank focus. Yeah, that's pretty weak. Looks like he'll pulp.
So was that a spin?
Ouch! That pulp was well spent because that tie explodes.
A whiff from Bill.
Yep, it was.
So after a pretty weak roll,
Yeah, an absolutely terrible roll out of
adding a
Bill.
crit and using the focus, and then a total whiff, and the direct hit. Bill will not be happy with that. So unhappy he's gonna throw his dice everywhere.
Okay, it'll pluck a shield off the other Epsilon with Omega Leader. So he's really gonna have to make these shots count. for hilarious damage.
That's 3.
Yep, going for Omega Leader.
Omega Leader.
Looks like he really wants that kill.
Oh, it's one. It only has to be one hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Range 3, I'd probably be tempted by this shot.
Yeah.
You're still locked by Omega Leader, so you can't.
Yeah. Personally, with that range, I don't like that shot.
Could he still get the target lock? Using
You,
Vesper's
you still
ability?
get it, but you can't use it.
Right.
Yep, because you're not allowed to modify.
Yeah.
So you still acquire a target lock, though?
He may acquire a target lock, he doesn't have to.
Judge interference.
It's because we all secretly
Yep.
want the Edmonton scumbags to lose. Well, Red Deer.
It's all the North.
Those filthy Northerners coming down here.
Northern carpetbaggers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
All right, and here's just the ooh.
Oh, where's your Emperor now?
I mean, the problem with Vesper's shot is if he shoots Wampa,
Oh dear, that was
The Emperor protects.
Khan or
Unfortunately. Yeah, the Emperor protects. Unfortunately, he doesn't protect the people who are supposed to be protecting him.
wow. That was an interesting turn.
where's your corpse emperor now?
Wait, I think if Vesper had chosen to shoot Wampa,
Jax just explodes, even with stealth device. Well, green dice are green dice.
So I'll update the score for what it's worth.
Well, that's the first kill this game.
we have no
So.
No, there was a. So,
Oh, yep. Sorry, the second kill, but all this turn.
I can
So
put the scoreboard back on, but it covers up the joust between Wampa and Vessery.
more like Vessery chasing Wampa.
I did not care. Oh, no,
Nope,
he did not
that's
care.
a run. Okay, I guess that evade token is why he wasn't really worth a shot. So, well,
either
here's
way,
that final
it was-
crack at Omega Leader coming out of the IFO. Their dice rolling is so inaccurate; it's knocking the dice trays out of position.
I think
Just
maybe we
if
just
you like,
switch.
you can roll them on the table and then just place them in.
Because you're missing the tray anyways. You're just missing the tray anyways. Push it backwards a little towards the camera because the top of the tray isn't in. Yeah, there we go. That's good. We're sorry we're sorry you guys had to look at the close up there.
Oh, that's made some people's days, man. It's been like at least 20 minutes since you got to see me on the desk.
I think it was just your day that was made.
No, that was last week when I got to push around those Z95.
Yeah, with your zapping. Oh, look, it's a Sean.
Hi, Sean. See you in like 3 weeks.
Okay. I would actually be fairly aggressive with that Epsilon that Bill has at the bottom of the table because it's the thing that is easiest for Greg to attack. So if he jumps in very quickly, then it might be very difficult for him to draw a correct beat on it. And the rest of his list is behind the Greg's list.
So when you go down to Sean's, you're doing live streaming for him, Chris? Or you're just playing?
I don't know. I've not really spoke to Aaron properly since then. I'll be taking down my laptop and my equipment.
Yeah.
I record some YouTube stuff for him, but I don't know if they're doing
Live stuff.
stuff or whether I'll play or. I'm sure Aaron's going to want to kick my ass anyway. I'll lose to some people who actually did well at Worlds rather than losing to Terrence all the time.
That was nothing but. Some list building fun in there. No.
Yeah, so as long as I've still got somewhere to stay.
Looks like Sean's got some place in mind.
I've heard all about the spooning at Worlds. There'll be more of that.
My plan is to drive down to Rapid City in South Dakota in one day, and then finish the drive the next day.
Good luck with that.
Oh, looks like that Epsilon's just going to pick up a target lock on Wampa and cruise in.
You know, Chris, I don't know exactly when, but at some point they invented these flying machines. They're called
The problem with flying
aeroplanes.
machines is that you have to like pay up front.
And filthy Americans made them? Is that what your problem is?
No, I have
the
to-
colonials
I have to-
from across the pond?
If I had the money, if I hadn't have just spent all of that money on some mats for Imperial Assault, that would have been my flight paid for.
$85 for one Imperial Assault mat.
Yeah, the prototype, proof of concept. Yeah.
That's about $10 US, I think, for all of you viewers.
You know, with those tiles, why didn't they just like print?
I ordered one of my own t-shirts.
Because there's only like
as well.
2 configurations for tournament play.
3.
There's
Or whatever.
3 different mats. It wasn't even the
Wasn't
proof
even a
of
lot.
concept one. It's the exclusive ones that were given away for the Imperial Assault Regional that costs all the money. But yeah, because I get to pay after Joe's been paid if I drive compared to having to pay now.
Looks like that proto's rolling over near the rock just because it wants to get into the shuttle's way. But
Shuttle's going the other way.
ooh,
Looks like he might be on.
Another wrong. That's
Oh. He's good.
Greg's played this game before. I'm tempted. You have a good point about if I drive. It's not that far out of my way, considering the vast distances already travelled to call to FFG. I'll just go to Minnesota and then drive back.
Yeah,
how long is that drive
easy,
going to
yeah.
take you?
If you look on a map, it's only like a couple inches or whatever. I mean, how long can that take?
Yeah, I don't know. Come on, how long is it from Omaha, Nebraska to Minneapolis? Can't be that far.
It's probably like
Yeah, America's such a tiny country, right?
it's probably like if you start at the bottom of the UK and you drive all the way up to the top and then all the way back again.
I've done that. I used to do that every weekend when I was based at Marham and wanted to see my wife.
Easy.
Oh, Vessery.
Look at
It
this.
looks like he's caught one per there.
Looks like.
It's close.
Well, Jax is dead, so he can use that
Yeah.
focus now. You know, unless he's shooting at Omega Leader.
So,
What's an extra 5 hours each way when you're already doing a 22-hour drive?
That's nothing.
It's only a 25% increase. It's only 25%.
All right.
Oh, looks like Omega Leader just grabbed a straight to just
Greg
get the
missing a
hell out of
nub.
there.
That's an odd thing to do for.
No, that is a choreograph.
It was a choreograph, so Omega Leader.
So, what I'll have to do is actually contact FFG and ask if I can bring some stuff down and record some interviews and go down. And if I can do it for work, then I'll go. If it's who the hell are you, get out, then I probably won't bother doing that extra 11 hours worth of driving.
Weapons malfunction. No, wait, what's the one where you lose your secondary weapon?
Are you playing
Not
with
in
an
the new
old
damage deck?
After you execute a white maneuver, receive 1 stress token.
It's okay, his K turns weren't white.
All right. So that's on your Epsilon, correct?
My 6.
All right, so 1 Epsilon gets poked.
checking, it looks like it did not catch Wampa. But did
Very
it catch
unfortunate.
Omega Leader?
One hit of Omega Leader, and you've got Emperor.
So, no arc on Wampa.
No.
Nope, just out of
range
arc.
Wampa. Sorry, out of arc.
Oh, I can't modify dice. Okay, so no hits.
Yep. Power of Omega Leader. Choking off Vesser's ability.
So hot.
There's the Palpatine usage.
Omega Lead is just too attractive.
Oh, yeah, you do it after.
So,
Yep, that's just a straight up hit and scratches an
another
Epsilon.
Dead Epsilon.
Doesn't everyone love TIE duels where suddenly ships just randomly go away?
I don't know how random, the lasers have been fired at them for quite a while.
It's pretty random whether or not they get hit when you're firing like 3 dice on 3 dice and they're largely unmodified.
2 dice on 3 dice.
Well, here it's range 1, so. Yeah. Okay, well, that'll at least take a shield off the
I've
shuttle.
done that score the wrong way around.
Yeah, that whole 1 point difference.
No, as in I credited Bill with the win
Oh,
last time.
that score. Terrible.
No, I only did one hit.
Okay. What's the shuttle shield at?
I think he has one left.
Yep. That's that's some decent chopping at it.
And again, this is a format coming into its own again.
What's the time at?
11 minutes, just under now.
All right.
Oh, not just over.
Time's running out for Bill to score some points in this game. Or at least league points. League points!
Those
If it stays as is, he'd get 1.
I'm a big fan of chasing down shuttles with my TIE Advanced prototypes. It works really well.
It's ever so much fun. Alright, now the shuttle's in a really awkward position because it's got nothing useful to do except get in the way. Which, honestly, is not actually a bad plan here.
I don't know, there's actually some
what's
nice options here, depending on how aggressive Greg wants to be and what his target of choice is going to be.
Well, all he's really got is a hard 2 into Vestry.
Or a stop.
Yeah.
Or a 1.
But the stop is basically a bang. Is basically a block, and it's conceding not trying to push damage through on Vestry. Although, in Vestry's position,
The auto stop.
this looks like a K-turn turn.
Every
most
turn
turns
looks
do.
like a K-turn turn.
Unless there was someone actually physically in the spot where you would land, and they move after you. That is not a K-turn
You
turn.
just dial it in anyway, because it's not like you come out stressed. And it means that they can't shoot you unless they're also a Vessery. Yeah.
You've got 2 dead ties?
Yeah, 30 points.
Yeah,
you're winning by
but
1
12
point.
points is the margin to actually win in the league game. Remember?
Okay, so it'll be
Yeah.
It will be a draw right now.
and they're worth 0.
No, they're worth 1 point each.
Come on, Kelvin.
I did read the rules.
FYI,
I'm just saying,
9 minutes remaining.
Greg could kill something. I'm just saying, Greg could kill something, and then you lose.
If he killed something unanswered.
Well, of course.
That's what's this called.
That's the implied
The
thing.
game is still in the
could
bag.
go.
Of course, he only needs to do 1 point to get
go
14
anyway.
off that, or 15 off that shuttle.
And 1 point to kill Omega Leader.
That too.
And
There's
2
a lot of points
to
on the
kill
board.
Wampa. I'm expecting Greg to have done the hard.
I'm just giving Bill
shit.
shit because it feels cruel to give Greg shit after beating him twice.
Oh no, I think you should pile on, man.
Well, he's landing on rocks less than he was in our games.
He's getting away with landing on rocks just as much as in my game.
Well, he's getting...
Thanks for driving down, by the way. We appreciate you travelling for the abuse.
1 damage on that TIE advanced prototype from the rock.
Yeah.
Hey, he landed... In our very first exchange of fire, he landed a Jumpmaster on a rock and still killed one of mine.
Oh, nice.
Because he got 4 hits out of the plasma torpedo and then 3 hits and a crit out of the other plasma torpedo. I rolled nothing, and the crit was a direct. So sometimes, you know, the dice really do bail you out of a mistake.
Not if you were Michael. Oh.
I said sometimes. The dice just don't like Michael.
No. So, stop.
Yep, that is the stop.
Wampa.
Okay. Looks like one was grabbing an evade. Safe play.
What's he done?
It's like a 4K. Who'd have thunk it?
It's a TIE defender being a TIE defender.
I feel safe saying it this time, but it looks like Vesri's caught Wampa.
Are you sure? Alright, well,
And
Looks like
successfully
just a bump.
protects himself from Omega Leader.
that's a good spot. I find it like this is actually how you execute a TIE defender, just positionally speaking. I mean, obviously the lack of the actual titles is going to make it not quite as murderously efficient as it could be, but this is a good demonstration of how you can abuse the K turn. Excuse me. 4 focused dice. Ouch.
Requires the target lock because one of those TIE advanced prototypes has a lock.
Yep.
So,
So it needs lots of them.
something.
Needs to be perfect, and I don't think
And
that's
it is
perfect.
perfect.
Oh, it is?
Oh, he's got
Oh my.
Palpatine, I believe.
Well, Palpatine perfect then.
3 natural evades came up, and then the evade. Sorry,
then
2
the
natural
evade token.
evades, the evade token, and Palpatine.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good enough.
that's what he needed.
Ah, green dice.
See, I've never actually seen the holiday special. It's probably for the best.
But lumpy.
I've still got to finish watching the Droids cartoon. I only got like 5 episodes in, man.
Okay. We are now at half points on the shuttle.
The Ewok Adventure and Caravan of Courage.
They're all lies. Disney axing all previous canon is not a bad thing. Okay.
First Star Wars movie that I saw.
Wow.
at
One from the
movie
shuttle.
theater.
Does nothing.
No, we got
You have 4 minutes still. We still got time.
Come on, then, stop slow playing me.
You're winning anyway. What the heck?
I'm winning by 1 point.
Did we?
You took
You
the
just
shuttle to
got
half just now.
You just got half points on the
Did
shuttle.
the prototype take any damage from a shuttle?
No.
No, he got 1 hit out of the shuttle.
Yeah.
3 dice gave him nothing, and 1 die gave him a hit, and then the green dice said no.
And the other thing that happened is Wampa didn't die.
Yep.
Yeah. What the hell?
I've just thrown out there, you know, and it's not all bad.
See, that's the thing about TIE fighters. Sometimes they just refuse to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, first Star Wars movie I saw in the theater was Caravan of Courage. Because I wasn't born when Star Wars came out. There's only 2 when The Empire Strikes Back came out, and there's only 5 when Return of the Jedi came out.
What month did Jedi come out?
It's
December,
probably
wasn't it? Because we were not all in December.
May. May.
No, sorry. Yeah, they were complaining.
So I guess technically I was 4.
Yeah, that's good. I was born when Jedi came out. Yeah.
So yeah, Caravan of Courage, I think I was a little bit old.
Before my
It
time.
was a couple of years after.
So
Bad.
which Star Wars toys did you not have?
Oh man.
Because you're from like Preston or posh down there. But it's probably a smaller list.
Well, my brother had all the Imperial stuff and I had all the Rebel stuff. So I remember getting the Ewok village for my 8th birthday and it was like the best. Because my mom actually made an Ewok village cake using like 2 or 3 like chocolate log type things and like Cadbury's fingers as like the fences and stuff. Oh, so good. And then I got the actual Ewok village. It was the best.
Did you try to eat that one? You said you were 8.
I was pretty young. I'm pretty sure I chewed on some of my Star Wars toys. In the UK, the Ewok movies were in the theatre. So.
That was one of the happiest days of my childhood, was sticking the stickers onto my Falcon.
And there's a block on the shuttle.
See, I was one of those kids who always wanted to know how something worked and what the insides were like. So, if you remember the Falcon, it had like the cardboard walls and stuff, and I had to rip all mine out to see what was behind, which, for the record, is nothing.
Is it in fact hollow plastic and joining rod studs? Yeah.
So, yeah, and then it was wrecked.
Surprising nobody.
I had to get my AT-AT from a car boot sale,
Oh, nice.
and it didn't have the guns underneath that
Oh,
moved. So all it
that's
had
not
was the
good.
rods, the actual grip. So I knew something was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Oh.
they're like clear plastic rods, because there was actually a light.
It's finally the hard one out of Vessery.
Oh, yeah.
Wired is going to have some impact this game. I guarantee it is a small, insignificant.
Watch him roll 0 focuses.
It's a good job Vessery doesn't have some inbuilt ability to re-roll dice that is better than just allowing him to re-roll focuses on offense.
Nobody expects the red one.
Does he actually have a shot on Wampa here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
looks like
pretty sure the chin guns went missing on my brother's AT-AT as well.
Yeah. I also lost one of the struts from my Y-Wings engine. That was awfully frustrating.
Can you roll
I know the what's it called? The thing on top of the Falcon that gets knocked off by Lando.
The dish.
The dish, that's the word. The dish
Ouch.
broke off.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is it enough?
1, 2, 3. Wampa takes odd damage.
Not enough to kill.
Nope. And it's not a critical.
Wampa is still alive and kicking Bill in the teeth.
But Emperor was spent or no?
No Emperor was spent. He could have avoided all of the damage of the Emperor.
I think that was the thing in Hollywood for the longest
Oh,
time.
he did
Yeah.
spend? Oh,
Not just stuff.
Yeah, he had to spend to not die.
And when the Emperor prevented one, that means one got.
Yeah,
All
1 point damage
English
went through, so he
people.
had to spend Emperor to keep from dying. Yeah.
so we're back into a phase of British villains again now, aren't we?
Would it ever really go away?
I've seen Deadpool. No, I mean, it depends. If you watch Die Hard, you know. In fact, that's the best way to judge what decade you're in, is where is a villain from in Die Hard.
And
All I remember is it's Alan Rickman.
Oh, so tough. And it's pronounced Alan Rickman.
No, it's pronounced
Go.
Snape.
I'll gouge your eyes out with a spoon! Is the correct Alan Rickman's quote. Anyone who remembers him from Harry Potter has obviously never seen Prince of Thieves.
That is a triple evade, or at least triple symbols to get out. Good enough to get out for Omega Leader. We are at time, so the end of the combat round.
Yeah, finish the round.
Hey, if he kills that TIE advanced prototype, he steals the TIE from the jaws of defeat. But does not kill the TIE?
Yeah.
Does kill.
Oh, he does kill the TIE.
Dice, man. Games with dice.
I'm looking at Bill, and I can tell he's very happy.
Well, 30.
Yeah.
You were at 46, Bill, and
You just lost the second prototype. You just lost the first prototype,
it was
right?
a tie.
46 versus 47.
So you gave up
It's a
47.
tie.
So it's a draw under the
Yep.
modified
And you took
score.
46. So under our modified league scoring, it's a draw. By 1 point. 1 point margin, though.
Why a spoon, cousin? Why a spoon?
See, anyone who thinks of Alan Rickman from Prince of Thieves is clearly too young to remember Alan Rickman in Die Hard. Because,
No, but I've already gone on about Die Hard.
that's the definitive.
Yeah, thank you.
But,
Oh, I guess Galaxy Quest.
but that, yeah,
Throw that
Galaxy Quest. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the real definitive element.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
oh, I can't remember
By
the guy's
Grabthar's
name.
hammer.
Grandpa's yeah.
Grabthar's hammer.
Yeah. I love Galaxy Quest.
We're just trying to deflect from the rage of Bill from having victory snatched away from him with the last rolls of the dice.
The problem with Alan Rickman when he plays Hans Gruber is American accent and being a whiny little girl.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Alexander saw the breadth of his domain.
It's no worse
and
than my
wept,
baby crying was when we
for there were
played.
no more worlds to conquer. Benefits of a classical education.
Well,
It's
would
been a
Greg
sad
or
year.
Bill like to
Both
join
of
us
them.
on the desk?
I don't want to say anything. I'm afraid I'm going to start swearing at Greg, and he's a super nice guy.
It's not, don't lie. Although someone in the Twitch chat did say that Greg was the nicest person and wanted him to win. So they've obviously never met you, Bill.
Alright, I'm gonna jump out. Sure. We'll get these guys in.
Finally made it down, Greg?
Yeah, finally made it down. Hope to make it more often now. So
No, that's good. Hey, did you enjoy the format, first of all?
absolutely, the format's fantastic. I like playing the two games back to back.
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity to sort of learn how your opponent flies and try to do some different things.
Yeah.
I definitely,
Roll really well.
I was definitely on the ropes in the second game. I thought I was going to lose that one right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Bill did a really, really good job of adjusting to kind of what I like to do. So
Yeah, I saw in the second game there, his setup was a lot stronger and
Yeah.
the approach going hard onto the two ships that
Yeah.
theoretically would have been easier to kill.
no, absolutely. But Bill was a great opponent. He was tons of fun to play. So
Yeah.
hope he'll play me in the future again sometime. Okay, fair
He'll
enough.
come and sit down in a minute. He
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
he needs his moment.
Calm down.
Yeah. So, how many times have you run this so far?
Actually, those were I played 2 games with it last night. Actually, against my friend Sean, who's
Yeah.
been down with me for work. So that was my first kind of real competitive go with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like it. It definitely has some strengths and weaknesses, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I heard you guys talking about them a little bit. The offense out of it isn't necessarily the strongest, but you have to sort of try to keep
Oh, it's-
the ships around for the long game.
It's a grind.
It is a
Chris.
grind, you bet.
Having that extra ship with Palpatine, well, Bill will attest to how many times Palpatine will save you.
Yeah, it saved me, or I got really fortunate with Wampa in these games. I rolled a lot of natural crits actually with Wampa, so that helped.
Suspiciously.
Suspiciously, yeah, you bet.
No, that's my problem with Wampa is you suck up a lot of Palpatine,
You do.
and if they've got ships like Bill's was here with 4 ships firing after Wampa,
Yeah.
do you want to
No,
use it? And then
absolutely. So, but like I said, it did work out in these two particular games. He seemed to proc kind of unnaturally often. But I do enjoy him because he is a threat that folks pay a lot of
It's
attention
the
to.
Imperial Bigs.
He is the Imperial Biggs, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. How did you find the swan song for that list?
Yeah, it's definitely the last time you're going to see an untitled defender in X-Wing. Because they're still garbage.
Certainly.
When the titles come out,
Yeah.
you're going to see a lot of defenders on the table.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I used to play this list with 4 bombers
Yeah.
and Vassery with just whatever 1 point EPT. Usually Adrenaline Rush because of situations like that last turn where you need to do that one. Nobody thinks you're going to do it,
Yeah.
and then you end up with the focus.
I was on the receiving end of that list probably 2 years ago now.
It's
And I was
obnoxious.
running my twin defender with my defender swarm, Vessery and Braff.
Gotcha.
And Bill's, when you've got HLCs, the bombers take a lot of killing.
No, fair
And I
enough.
think I cleaned up Vessery and then lost the game still because the bombers wouldn't die.
Yeah, that's a lot of hull.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
6 each, and there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
another
you
expansion
almost
I'm looking forward to.
burn through your entire damage deck with 4 bombers.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
No, it's good.
I wanted to try this with 2 cheap, light fighters, and I think the Sinar Test Pilot works pretty well in this list because they can do the target lock and end up with the evade, whereas the bombers would always have to take a target lock, not
no-
fire at
no
anything,
defense.
Yeah.
and then barrel roll to get into the way. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I like the list a lot. I wouldn't call it competitive.
What would you do with the 2 points you're going to gain?
Oh man, what wouldn't I do? You could take 4 Sinar Test Pilots if you have a Death Wish.
I
That's-
think. In fact, no. I probably like at least 1 Epsilon in there just for the definitive blocker, or even go down to an academy and then put auto thrusters on both of them.
I wasn't sure I was gonna like the 1 pilot skill
Yeah.
TIE Fighter, but they paid off in
Yeah,
this
no,
game.
they were very effective. That first game, it was such a gummed up mess, and you blocked everything very effectively. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think Ed was in the Twitch chat earlier on, was saying the Nova Squadron show is going to drop tomorrow, probably.
Right.
On that, I believe we'll chat a little bit about the TIE Advanced prototype, because it's the main topic. So
Gotcha.
we'll chat. And one of the things I say is that rather than being like a missile platform for Imperials, I feel like it's a cheap auto thrusters platform.
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And dropping down to an academy and then giving Vessery the X7 title frees up enough to put auto thrusters on both of them.
As a blocker, I feel like you don't really need auto thrusters on them because at pilot skill 2, they'll move before most of the aces
But
and then take a target lock to evade, which is better than auto thrusters.
the way I think about it in my head is that there's games where you'll be in close and title is awesome. There'll also be games where you're playing against jump masters, ghosts, where you'll want the auto thrusters as well.
Yep.
So, well, not so much ghosts because, as we saw in the last game, don't drop in the rear arc because that's still an arc.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to take the ghosts in the flank.
Yeah, it's a fire spray, but scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Much more powerful.
So probably not going to get another game in. So we can talk about the X-Wing news if you like. So did you see any of the lists that did well in regionals this week?
I glanced at it briefly when I was at work today.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of crack swarm.
Did you
well.
see the 4 rookies with integrated?
I did, yeah.
And the Z X-wings making the cut.
Harken back to, well, other than
Rookies.
the integrated. Yeah.
Oh my.
4 rookies, R2's
Z.
integrated, and Z. So it's 4BZ, but 4XZ.
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah.
you do better against jump masters because you have the extra evade and less shields for the torpedoes to burn off. So Crack Swarm was I think won a regionals this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting.
No, you bet. Yeah, it seems like the Swarm is definitely a strong part of the meta right now.
I feel like the pure amount of aces that are coming out whilst turreted ships are still being kept down.
Yeah.
I think that the Decimator Whisper or Decimator Fell was primed for a comeback.
Yeah.
Or especially the Vader on a Decimator.
Yeah.
I was kicking around Hoken with some TIE Advanced prototypes, but there's a much better way of doing it. I think Hoken Vader Gunners.
Yeah.
2 decimators didn't show up at
I know. Sean random.
Wow.
Do you want to?
a decimator plus an ace.
Yeah. Sorry, Sean actually ran 2 decimators. Yeah.
I know I've recently played against a Decimator, Vader, again, and Whisper, and definitely strong once again. You know.
Yeah, it's perfectly poised to come back because the Jump Masters, whichever one they shoot at, is a bad choice because it's a lot of ordnance gone.
Yep.
Against the Aces, you've got a Vader on a turreted ship that isn't going to hit.
Yeah.
So there's lots of potential there. What else? So obviously the five green squadrons, which did well last week, I believe. I can't remember if we talked about it last Monday or not. But I honestly feel like Wave 8 has really shaken the meta up, and
It's
more varied now than I've seen for a long time.
It's really hard to predict
And
what's going to show up for sure.
It feels like, it's still early in regional seasons, like week 4. Some places are still running store championships.
Yeah, sure enough.
And so it's still early. I don't feel like it's settled down into what is the best list yet. Palpatine Shuttle is always going to be good. I said it before Worlds last year. If you fly it well, there's not many things that
it's weak
outright
against.
crush it.
Yeah.
I still want to see more feedback swarms, even with the nerfing to feedback arrays. I feel like they're in a good place. Just take debris instead of rocks and you'll be okay.
Yeah, true.
Bump Master is very powerful.
Yeah.
I found that out on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I flew one of those, and I didn't. It just didn't fit. I don't know. It didn't feel right. It was, in terms of that particular platform of a ship, I was looking to do. It was never in the right position, right, for whatever reason.
Fly better, man.
Yeah, that's right. I just got to fly better. That's right.
Sorry, fly even better.
Yeah.
I do agree with, I think it's Ryan Fleming who took the Hoff Open on his thoughts on the Jump Master. The best one to block is any of them and just take a better initiative bid. And that's another really interesting thing. If the changes to intentional draws comes through with the removal of draws, I'd lean towards them using the system they have in place already, which is the initiative decides the game.
Yeah.
And that just makes the initiative bid even more important.
No. It's interesting what the Jump Masters have done to the pilot skill, the average pilot skill that people are playing with.
I'm so happy. I've spoken about mid-range things for a long time.
It opens up so many more lists.
Mid-range basically doesn't exist right now. Before Jump
the
Master.
Tanari Point veterans, some Sikhs. Yeah, PS5 and EPT.
Yep.
So,
Do you actually think we'll see those ever?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Well, was it Alex Davey was on an interview on Scum and Villainy, I want to say.
Right.
I know, and him and Frank Brooks did an interview on the Castle Run, and they both acknowledged that the Star Viper and the Seek aren't where they need to be.
Right.
In the same way that the Defender wasn't where it needed
Yeah.
to be. So I'd expect them to get fixed at some point. How
Normally,
quickly?
Fantasy Flight's fix for ships has been titles, and
Both
they
already have one.
kind of dropped the ball on that because now they can't fix that ship, either of those ships, with a
think
title.
Alex said he would have liked to have given the Seek title the same points cost, but plus one hull
Yeah.
Okay.
to make it an actual heavy Seek. Would have been if he had a crystal ball or could go back in time. I think that was his suggestion. And then I believe he was saying that a 1 point reduction across the board for them would have been fine as well.
Yeah, because right now, what they look like is a first order tie.
Yeah.
Because they're the same agility, they're the same. Actually, they're one less life. So,
Yeah, the dial's worse, the health's
Yeah.
worse, the cost is. the same.
sorry,
It's
let me
just not
say
worth
it's
running.
a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Because a TIE fighter is 12 points, and then you can throw a modification on there to give it a targeting computer, and they look
Yeah.
very, very similar at that
Yeah.
point.
It's not like you even gain an illicit slot. But I was looking at my final ships. I always end up with points left when I try and do a feedback swarm. And I was like, oh, I'll throw in the Seek. So you can't. It doesn't have an illicit. What's the point?
Yeah.
It can't block from Benares because it goes after them. it just, yeah.
It's just
Leighton
awkward.
Ashera right now is the best you can do with the M3A interceptor,
And
and he's 30 points.
I would argue Sirisu, but
Sarazu
again,
is terrible.
It's a Biggs ship, but you're paying 18 points for. Like, the reason Biggs is okay because he'll still output damage until he's dead.
Yeah.
To get Sirisu to the same level as Biggs, it's just too many points and still isn't effective enough.
I've played games with Sarisu rolling 7 evade dice and still explodes in one shot.
Yeah, green dice betray you.
Yes.
Yeah.
About-
Did you have Bodyguard in there as well to get up to 7? I can picture you running Bodyguard.
Yes.
Because I ran Sirisu with Bodyguard. That was the only upgrade I put on her. Sirisu, Bodyguard, and then I ran her next to.
No, Bodyguard has to go on somebody
No,
else.
but I went on. I flew her next to Prince Ezo.
Okay, yeah.
And the entire idea was that no one is ever going to shoot Prince Ezo because he's re-rolling dice. Sirisu's giving him an extra evade dice. So it's like, I'm just going to shoot Sirisu. It's like, that's good. That is a plan. Please kill my 20-point Biggs.
Boom. Explodes in one shot.
So, what are your thoughts about the upgrades to the bombers coming?
I really like long-range scanners against certain lists. It comes down to deploy. You've got to win deployment for long-range scanners to be good.
Long range scanners would be great in what I've got here.
Yes.
Because then I don't have to worry at all about positioning. I can just move, grab target locks, and then forget about it for the entire game.
Yeah, they just remain.
Just move defensively for the rest of it with my 4 ships.
One of my favourites is the Stress Hog Light, just the PS2 bomber with a tactician.
Yep.
18 points, just, I don't care, take a stress.
Yeah.
Kill me? Okay, whatever. You've got 6 holes to chew through, just keep shooting. I don't care.
And 2 agility.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
Yeah, that's.
That's really. I don't know in the Palpatine Aces style list, but literally you could almost do Paul Heaver's Worlds list from this year. You could do a take on it where you've got a Fel, a mid-rate, maybe a Valon Rude, or
Yeah.
one of these stress bombers and something else, maybe a PS1 type blocker, Academy Pilot, where you just, you've got some mid-range damage output with all thrusters, you've got a fell still, and then you've got these two just annoying ships, one blocking, one stressing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
that
sitting
kind of
down.
thing could be really interesting.
Looking forward to sitting down and playing with that shuttle option and seeing what kind of crew you can cook up in there.
I think the easy one at the moment is systems officer and fleet officer.
Signal officer. Or
No, systems officer.
systems officer? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's systems. I'm 99%.
Oh, right, systems officer. Sorry, I don't know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Never mind, carry on.
Yeah. And then you get the focuses and target locks handing out to people. And
Yeah,
pretty good.
flying around.
It's just a support ship for the Imperial. It's an Imperial Hawk.
Yeah,
Terrible at everything other than handing out
being
crap to people.
supportive. Yeah.
2 attack dice and 2 agility. It's way better than a hawk.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have a shield.
You know that if you get a weapons failure on a Hawk, you can still shoot at range 1. And
Technically, you can shoot at every range. You just roll the dice.
yeah, so you can still tactician people.
Oh
If
yeah.
only you could get an extra crew, you could gun a tactician with 0 dice. That's why you can't, because it would be OP, man. OP. You're only 1 weapons failure away from being broken. Oh dear. I don't know. Any questions for the guys you've just seen on the chat? People talking about Echo winning stuff. So I'm a big fan of Echo.
Yeah.
I don't fly her enough to be as skilled as I'd like to be with her.
No, I'm a big fan as well.
Oh, slide up a little
Yeah,
bit. When
absolutely.
Calvin back in. Grab one of the chairs.
Still sitting on my attack. It's all set on his.
Oh yeah.
So what are you flying lately, Calvin?
Honestly, I've been flying triple interceptors.
Oh, okay.
Turfinier is terrible.
You just need to get good, man.
Oh no. Jackson Fell are fine. It's just that Finier is shit.
I think I was giving advice to some of the newer players who were just buying into it, and they didn't want to buy fully into everything you need to get Fell going.
Okay.
I was like, well,
a lot of work, yeah.
get your interceptor and just fly Turfinier for a bit. You'll lose a lot, but when you start winning games with Turfinier, when you put Fell on the table, you're like, this is the easiest game I've ever played. So it's a very good test of skill to fly Turfinier. I think Valen Rudar is what could have been. His
Opposite half of
repositioning
the
is
same
very
coin.
His repositioning is very similar. The thing I like about Rudar is it forces the choices onto your opponent.
And you don't
Yeah.
actually have to be facing the right way.
Yeah, so that's really good. I'm still undecided on what I want to do. I enjoyed flying the 6 headhunters for Scum. Really good. I still need to test it against some jump masters to see how that matchup goes. And I like flying the PS9 Imperialist I flew against you
Yes.
week before with Whisper. I like that list as well.
Yeah.
So Whisper fell.
No,
Inquisitor.
that's far too good.
Okay, fair enough.
Whisper, standard Whisper with Rex Spec. Then the Inquisitor with adaptability,
Okay.
and Juno Eclipse with adaptability.
That's not bad.
Just play X-Wing on hard mode, and
That's not bad. Yeah, that's a brain burner though. If you took it to a regional event or something and had to go multi rounds, that's a lot
that's
of
what I
brain
like.
energy.
though.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know, and I still think there's legs in that list I ran for the region,
Yep.
for the Store Championships that you put away, both of you put away handily.
Well, it wasn't handled.
Fly better.
I got lucky in that in our top
The
8 game.
second
Well, you were
one.
trying to hide shit from me, so
Yeah,
it was your own fault.
yeah. And both games, the game against Covenant and the first one against you I wasn't exactly try-harding.
No, true enough.
But the second game was close, but wasn't to be. But I think there's more mileage in that. I think there's potential there, but I don't know whether Auto Blasters on it, freeing up points for engine,
Right.
might be a better choice. But I don't know.
Maybe. Well, you beat everyone that wasn't a jump master, so
Yeah,
that you ran into.
It's true.
let's see. Oh, fly casual, it's awesome. I'll show everyone my t-shirts again.
Yeah. Oh, they're
Oh,
good. I've
yeah.
got one coming.
Yeah, I've ordered my t-shirt. I also ordered a Dice Hate hoodie as well.
Yeah, how much of a cut of that do you get?
I believe I get $2 for everyone that's out. That's like $2 US, so
Oh wow.
so
Oh, wow,
that's
that's all the
practically
money.
like
You could live like a
$1,000.
king.
There
on
you go.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I said on the show that I'd make them, so I had to actually follow through. And then I was like, if I actually make them and buy a load of them, that's even more money I've got. I've just paid a lot of money for the prizes for Imperial Assault for regionals.
Right.
I've paid a lot of money to a bit of an to Paul LaRue for the prizing for X-Wing League. So you guys will get some exclusive prizing for the
Fair
league.
enough. Nice. Thank you very much.
So yeah, as much as I'd love to have just bought a load of them and sold them myself and taken all of the money, I figured just putting them out there for people to laugh at and
I'm
maybe
hoping to
buy
have
one.
one for the Saskatoon Regional. I won't be able to make it to Calgary here. I'll be busy with family stuff, but
Oh, I can't.
yeah, you're running
I'm
this,
streaming.
aren't
Damn
you?
it! No. I'm going. I actually still need to phone up and pay. I've reserved my seat for Saskatchewan. I'm looking at doing the one in Toronto.
Oh wow.
So I want to go and do some networking, hand out some business cards out there. And then Greg said, well, I asked Greg if I don't win the Imperial Assault Regional here, if I can have the day off to go to the one in Vancouver.
No, gotcha.
So I think if I make second again, I'll probably not make the trip. But no, there's loads of
But
stuff
if you
coming
lose
up.
horribly,
Oh yeah. If I don't beat Kyle,
what if you beat Kyle but still lose?
okay, if I beat
Pyrrhic
Kyle
victory.
and lose, I'll probably go because I want to buy to national. I won't even go to nationals, but I want to have the buy just in case. So,
Yeah, that sounds reasoning.
and I need to win to reserve a seat at Worlds.
Right.
So,
Right.
Oh yeah.
oh dear. Okay, that's
It's like nobody's
9
making fun
PM.
of you, so I guess we're out of material.
Yeah, it's 9. Let's see how many viewers we've still held while we've been chatting. Still 11 people watching, so if you've got any questions, guys, this is your last chance. I can, run the sexy entry box advert for you again. Intro to the show. She's going to get better, actually. You should see the new graphics we're working
You
on.
have an intro?
Have you not
What,
seen
you
it?
haven't seen it?
No?
Oh, well, it closes the show as well at the minute. So
Oh man.
it's got sound that you don't get to hear. But yeah, it's
Wow.
good.
Show's grown up a lot.
Oh dear. We're doing our best. I try. I
The
feel
last
like
time I was here, you barely were able to go live.
oh,
So it's a step in the right direction.
yeah. Were you not on the first one we did, a test stream we did as well? You were like undefeated right there.
And then
Yes.
the next day.
Undefeated on stream.
And now I haven't won a game in weeks on the stream.
At least you drew today. Better than a loss.
Yeah. No, did I? That wound up being a draw?
Yeah. Remember, it's 12 points either way to get the draw. So you earned a point out of it. What's we going to say? Do you hear about the thing while we were playing? I was chatting about the Age of Sigmar and the painting stream I'm going to do on
Oh, yes.
the day after X-Wing Regionals.
Oh my
So when I
God.
do 50, the Store Championship was 14 hours of streaming.
Wow.
So I'm going to be up, entertaining people.
You also have to pack all the equipment
Yeah.
to the venue and
And
then
also
back.
Amir Khan's fighting Saul Alvarez that night. So I'll be meeting Jill in Calgary going for beer, watching the boxing, then going home, then getting up and doing a charity stream to paint my entire Age of Sigmar army.
You are a crazy person. You're going to paint the entire army in one go
I've got no other time.
for your
For the path to glory.
Literally, I've got no time
for
other
your
than
path to
that.
glory stuff. I admire your dedication, sir.
Okay, so in Guild Ball, I'm playing Fisherman. Any advice on my speed list?
There's also another question about that.
Okay. Hard counter to a jump master in wave 9 that Alex brought.
I don't believe that
It didn't spoil it. It said that there is a hard counter coming, and I don't have any problems with hard counters. And if you build it, it's like, would you say that Palpatine is hard countered by Boba Fett?
Right. Yeah.
Is that a hard counter? You could consider that card was pure designed to remove cards like Palpatine, but you can still play it.
Cards like Palpatine, I'd be disappointed if the game design direction starts to go towards designing hard counters to current powerful lists, specifically designing them, right?
I would expect that it is going to be good against
Munitions.
certain archetypes. It might do.
I would actually target the target lock ability. Like when someone makes it ordnance, maybe something like a one-shot chaff flare or something.
I don't know. There's loads of different ways, and like I said, we've got no information other than in Alex's opinion.
Right.
Something is going to hard counter the jump master list as it is now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think this current regional season is showing that
But it
may
just-
not be necessary.
I feel like Carnor Jax is already kind of a hard counter to
But then
Jump Master.
you look at it that it'll hard counter its current form. There might be cards that also come in Wave 9 that change its form because it's a new wave. It's like, oh no, I hope something doesn't nerf Deadeye. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Deadeye's awesome. I hope something nerfs Deadeye. So, there's loads of stuff. What else is there? Crack Swarms is really good. Crack Swarms' popularity is showing how good it is.
Yeah, it's just broadly good.
Oh, that's a good point. I need to fly some G1As as well. Yeah, I need to play X-Wing as well.
You should play more X-Wing.
I should play more X-Wing.
Especially if you're going to talk to the people about it.
Yeah, the Imperial Greys. So Games Workshop has... I don't even know anything.
Some of their Space Wolfy blues and
Yeah,
grays.
what's the old Shadow Grey? What's the new colour for Shadow Grey?
Rust Grey?
I don't know.
Is it?
Maybe. Rust Grey is a sort of
Bluey.
bluish grey, and that's kind of close.
The Fang?
Yeah.
The Fang is a little darker because it's one of their base colors.
Yeah, well, they shifted
But
a lot of
basically,
their colors.
if you Google it,
GW or Vallejo will have something that matches.
Well,
The game
it's,
color should.
yeah, basically, the bluey grey that, for example, the TIE fighters that come on the Imperial Assault Carrier, the Gazanti, that would be a Shadow Grey. You'd have to Google what is a new colour for Shadow
I think
Grey.
you're looking at the Fang in that case.
Yeah, and then for the more classic grey, that would be a Codex grey.
That would be like the
which-
Administratum grey or whatever the hell that is now.
So those two GW colours,
Mechanicus Standard Grey.
yeah, very pale grey. Yeah.
literally, it's really, really easy for those ones. Zuckus Expos, EI, K4,
That's a list that
Advanced
did well.
Sensors.
P1A.
Yeah.
Zuckus.
I still
crap.
prefer Forlorn to Zuckus.
Pilot or crew?
Both. No, in this case, pilot.
I've
Forlorn.
actually been deeply amused by Stay on Target for long.
Yes.
With advanced sensors.
Yes.
It's
Oh.
hilarious.
Yes, that was one of the builds I was looking at trying out. Or one of the things I was chatting to Ed and Sean actually about was when we cover a new ship on the podcast now, I'm fed up of just spitballing ideas of, oh, this is what the internet's saying is good. I wanted to actually get stuff on the table.
Right.
That's why I ran 2 Barons of the Empire the other week and why I was running the Inquisitor, not just because it's awesome. But
Inquisitor is awesome.
that kind of thing, wanting to just play with them. So I want to get some G1As on the table. I'm convinced that there's some hidden power behind the Grand Findsman because there's too many combinations of crew, sensor, and elite pilot talent, and illicit for that to not be good.
I've been playing with that a little bit, but I haven't found the exact elixir yet of all those combinations.
And there's every chance that it's another YV666, that it's just waiting to get a couple more things, and then suddenly, bam, everyone's running them. And I think you were one of the first people I played with the Houndstooth.
Yep.
And I've got one. I need to throw it on the table and see what it does. And
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah, Forlom is weaker than Zuckus, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Doing a K-turn, missing, and then handing out a stress token as a result.
Yeah. And just that level of control it gives you. It's like, do you want to push this turn? Do you want to push the limits?
Because you might get another one.
I don't know. Anything you guys want to bring up before I close out the show? No. And always add it. If you're gonna run Zuckus, always add in the dice.
Yeah,
even against foul, whatever. Yeah, roll your
absolutely.
exit.
You have a better chance of hitting than you have of evading.
And
so the odds are more in favor of rolling a hit than evading everything.
Literally, if all of those evades come up evades, they were all coming up evades anyway. So who cares?
Well, except for the free one.
Yeah, and that's like not math, but whatever.
Yeah, and there's no downside to that.
Yeah. Jeremy's pulling his hair right now at that statement.
No doubt.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it over to the sexy intro just so Bill can see it.
Oh yeah, I need to see this.
And we'll see you guys again soon. In fact, next Monday. All right.